Welcome to Sunday, Gearheads, and welcome to the Blind Mike Project. Make sure to go to blindmike.net for all of Blind Mike's Patreon, YouTube, and podcast information. On today's show, you probably know him as the sexual legend of comedy, Big J. Oakerson. So sexy. Also, Zac Amico. And we watch Opie documenting black people in Harlem. So provocative. Add in a little bit of Tony Hinchcliffe and a giant plop of Tom Myers, and what a comedic breakfast burrito we have this morning. And now, here's your host, a man who is single-handedly driving a near millionaire insane just by breathing. Blind Mike Geary. Give it up.
Hey. It sucks. I was thinking of this before the show. Unfortunately, I have to go to another funeral tomorrow. I guess I'm at an age where people I know just start dropping dead. I guess that's a normal thing now. And I was thinking of this before the show. A good buddy of mine, his mom died just suddenly, passed away in her sleep. Just kind of, and they say it's like a light goes out. Hopefully, that's what it is. Like you hope there's no suffering or anything. But it's interesting because today specifically, I was thinking about it before the show, and I was just selfishly, you kind of think about your own life, and I was like, would I rather go like that or listen to Casey Day tell me about the Oregon Ducks?
No,
and
you liked it,
and it's something I haven't really figured out. Where he's telling me about telling me about Oregon Ducks football is one thing. When he gets to baseball, that's when I question mortality and what it all really means.
Congratulations, Ducks, on your 7th Big Ten title. Give us our full share of Big Ten Conference, you assholes.
I didn't think that would inspire him to do more of it, but no.
I don't learn.
No, it is. It's obviously very sad. I'm missing Cole. I tweeted the other night. I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to see Coleman," and I fucked up the times. I thought I'd be able to do both, but unfortunately, I have to go to another goddamn funeral tomorrow. So it is unfortunate because I was looking forward to seeing Coleman tomorrow. The other thing I did genuinely think about, because I had to text Dave and Justin and just say I wouldn't be in, and they both very, very kindly said sorry for your loss, or gave my condolences. And it feels weird to accept condolences, but it feels, because I'm not, it's my friend's mom, so I'm going to support my friend. I wasn't close to her personally, so it feels weird to be like, thanks, man. Like, you feel kind of phony, but it also feels weird to be like, oh, no, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to do in those situations. Like, hey, thank you. Or like, what do you say when someone offers you misguided condolences?
You take donations, Mike.
I say what she wanted was to go to blindmike.net. That's where her last. She's like, why isn't everyone going to blindmike.net? So,
Mike, we got some fun in the chat early on. I just want to direct our attention to it. Tom Myers just became a fan.
Oh,
hey now.
Tom messaged me this morning. I think he saw one of our topics for today, so we'll get to that.
He's like, be nice.
No.
He also gifted a membership, so thank you, Tom, for that.
Well, thank you, Tom. It's very kind of you.
And,
Tom, a good friend of the program. We'll be talking about him later.
He's neutral with some of the program. We're working on it. Post Films Co-op, $2. Where is Craig? I thought we would address that early on.
What? You tell me. Where is he?
Well, I'm just people are yearning for Craig. Craig will be back next week, folks.
Okay. So, back for the next 2 weeks, I hear.
Yes. He's
2 weeks of Craig. How exciting!
Yes. The skirt must be a little tired of Krager's. Hey, no, go away for 2 weeks. No, not just one. You're good.
I guess. Yeah. So we'll see Craig next week, but we're stuck with these two this week. I enjoy Casey Day and Electra. I like when they're here.
Thank you. I like you too.
All right.
What show did you say you did this week?
We did the Murder Game. Thank you for allowing us to mention it. We did the Murder Game podcast with Lucy Tightbox of Who Are These Podcasts fame. And Mike's on it. So go check it out. It was me and Mike.
Thanks. Can you describe to me what this show is? You were telling me a little before the show, but
it's one rule. You need to murder as many people as possible in a theoretical game in your head. I guess no bombs or no poison. And so resources are unlimited and time is unlimited. Go. That's the only
I
rule.
thought you talked about movies. I didn't understand. You started describing the plot of the podcast to me. I was like, I thought you reviewed movies, but apparently this
her
is very
other
different.
channel. Yeah, that's her other channel. Yeah.
We'll go check out Casey Day on there. ELECTRA will be on there soon, I guess. Is that true?
Yeah, she's gonna do it.
go on
Blind
there
Mike,
too.
I think you're great for it. Blind Mike, we could have a little get Kragers on there and like who's the best murderer of the Blind Mike Project game.
We don't need to book her show for her, but Murder Games, it's called.
Her name is Lucy Tightbox. Mike, did you
I'm familiar.
understand what I'm saying?
I'm familiar, yeah. I assume I'll be meeting Lucy next month, right? In
Yes,
Boston,
you will.
I would think.
She
That's
told me
exciting.
5 times how excited she was to meet you. So
Is that right?
yes.
Oh, well, likewise, Lucy. We'll see you June 21st at Boston City Winery for WATP Live. I don't know where you buy tickets, so just
You don't
search search WATP Boston and see if that comes up.
Text come randomly to numbers on your phone, and it might work.
Yeah.
Work for
Just
everybody.
message Carl. Okay. He'll spot you, and then you can pay him back in Boston.
He'll get back to you in 6 months.
Oh, WATPlive.com is probably what it is, right?
There we go.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm sure that's
Check that out.
So go there.
Electra.
And I'll see you guys there next month. All right. Oh, and blindmike.net is, as I said, it's a woman's final wishes is for you to go to blindmike.net. Make sure you subscribed wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe, like, comment, share. All that stuff helps more people find the podcast, especially if you do it on YouTube. So if you're watching live right now, like, comment. We appreciate you. And if you want to become a member for as little as $5 a month, you can do that as well on Patreon and YouTube. I would recommend Patreon because we're able to post more stuff there. For example, our Bill Murray episode of Why You Laughing has been blocked by YouTube for copyright reasons. So the powers that be at NBC don't want you to watch this episode. So if you want to get it early, get on Patreon. It's the only place you can watch it right now. And we appreciate you guys subscribing as well. Let's get into today's topics, shall we? Enough dilly-dallying.
Let's do it.
What are we starting with? Tony Hinchcliffe?
Yeah, we got Tony at a Trump rally.
Tony was on Bill Maher this week, and I saw some people, like I saw Too Lazy to Try, saying like Tony embarrassed himself with Bill Maher, and Bill Maher was laughing at him. That was not my takeaway from the interview. I thought it was fine. There were a couple funny moments, like Tony seemingly not knowing what aphasia was. He's like, "What do you mean?" But the way it's said, the way Bill Maher says it, I think it was a little confusing. I think people were like ragging on him for no reason there. I had a different takeaway. I didn't think he embarrassed himself on the podcast. I think that podcast is a show where he's supposed to get high and drunk. Go look at Richard Dreyfuss on that show. So I think it's supposed to be a little silly. But there was one moment that really stood out to me, and it's Tony's ego has gotten out of control. If you remember, when Anthony Jeselnik was taking shots at all these guys, I said, now there are some things he got right. And one of those things he got right was that Tony's ego, it's insane. I don't believe that he can be like this. And I know to a degree, he kind of has to be like this. And I don't mind guys with egos when it's warranted. You know, like Stern was probably the greatest at that, where the problem is, though, like the title of the king of all media, a bit of an overstatement, but it was somewhat warranted. You could understand why Howard was giving himself that title. With Tony, the pomposity has reached such unbelievable heights. Go ahead and listen to what I'm talking about. If you remember, the Trump rally caused a bit of a dust-up where Tony got in a lot of trouble for his Puerto Rico joke. I, as many others did, defended him, said, it's silly, you're mad at nothing, he's a comedian making jokes, who gives a shit? And I always thought Tony was there kind of for his own brand, to raise awareness about Tony Hinchcliffe and kill Tony. But this is the actual reason Tony went to that Trump rally that caused so much news.
Can you imagine?
Oh, you opened. You opened for the Trump rally.
I went up after the goddamn national anthem.
But did you
Bill
do
Maher.
it because you're a supporter of Trump, or just because it's an opportunity and a paycheck? Was it a paycheck?
No, it wasn't a paycheck. I did it literally to hopefully, get some hopefully, if only 10,000, not to mention 100,000, maybe 200 if we're lucky, actual people to vote for him.
Oh, so you did want people to vote for Trump?
Yes.
And by the way, I don't give a shit if Tony likes Trump, voted for Trump, good for him. The crazy thing about that statement, he's like, I thought, by me doing the rally, maybe, fingers crossed, 200,000 more people would vote for Donald Trump. Are you insane, Tony? What about your act would change minds? First of all, you're already preaching to the choir. You're going to a Trump rally, talking to people that are already voting for Donald Trump. I don't understand how much difference any of those make anyways. To me, I thought Tony was going. I think he supports Donald Trump, and good for him. I didn't realize he was going to change minds. And this is where comedians really start to get crazy, is when they believe their own bullshit. And you've seen this with Chappelle. Like, Chappelle thinks he is one of the great philosophers of our time. And, we're allowed to call you that. But when you start believing it about yourself, that's when it gets crazy. And I even want to say, if Joe Rogan said this, it wouldn't be nuts to me. Because I think people are going to the Joe Rogan experience for some level of insight, whether it's they like the guests that he's talking to, even maybe they like Joe's opinions, whatever. That's what they're going there for. Tony roasting Hillary Clinton is not going to make people go, oh my God, it was right there in front of me all along. I'm going to vote Republican now. What a psychopath this man has become. And this is what I'm saying, where it has to be warranted when you have that level of ego. If he talks about how popular his show is, that's great. The idea that he thinks he's a political influencer now, that's the danger. You heard people talking about the danger of all this stuff. Luckily, I don't think any fans believe it. I don't know how many fans are oh yeah, I vote based on who Tony Hinchcliffe likes, what rallies he plays. So it just so happened this same week when I was thinking about Tony's ego exploding, our friend Unique, Kyle, Scion Z, he posted a clip, and he titles it Kalila unloads on Bobby Lee, or whatever the fuck he says. Kyle's into clickbait. He posts a lot of these sensational titles, and I'm always disappointed when I click on them. But in the case of this one, I did... I found more interesting what Esther Pavitsky was saying. So Esther used to date Tony back in I think 10 years ago, or maybe more. So Esther dated Tony, and she ran into him recently. And this was a real conversation she had. So this is from Unique's channel. I wasn't able to find the actual video. They mentioned it being on Patreon, but Kyle says it was free. He says... this was a free video they posted, and you had to go to their Patreon. So I'm not sure where you can find it, but go look for Trash Tuesday, I guess. But this was a little snippet of them talking about Tony Hinchcliffe.
Maybe first year. He just really has that Austin energy. I was I hope you're saving your money. Because that's just my nature with him. Because you
opened his bank account.
Yeah, I know what he's like, and when I met him, when he was cashing checks at a check cashing place, so I just feel as a bookend, now that he is doing well.
I gotta tell you, that's something admirable about Tony. That's if he was talking about that, if he was talking about coming from nothing, because I know he his dad wasn't around. He grew up just in the middle of Ohio. I don't think he comes from any sort of money. So if he was talking about coming from nothing and building that into being a multimillionaire and a huge success, that I would listen to Tony for. He has some expertise in that. But if you listen to Tony's political opinions, they're you could find them anywhere. It's like listening to Steel Toe. Get that information just anywhere in the world. It's just vapid, bland political opinions. So this idea that he was going to change 200,000 minds, that's what's crazy. And this is where she goes on to explain the mania that exists in that brain of his.
Well, I hope that you're saving your money,
Mm-hmm.
And he was oh, I'm invested in stocks. And I'm okay, I feel that's not how people say it, but
that's kind of true.
Oh, by the way, none of this is shit talking. This is all, whatever.
It's recounting
My night. And but I would like it to stay on the Patreon. He
Oops.
goes,
So blame
I
Unique.
invested
Sorry.
in Netflix, and they just had their biggest quarter yet.
Who the fuck isn't invested in Netflix?
No, but listen,
Oh my god.
listen. And he goes, do you know why? Kill Tony was on Netflix. And he says stuff like this all the time, and he's been saying stuff like this literally since he was a barista at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Like, he has been this exact persona.
He's a perfect example of like delusion does take you far.
And like never change. Like, and
Yeah.
so for that reason, like, I can't ever hate on how he is, because it's like he's been like this day one.
The self-belief.
Yeah.
Tony believes the 2-hour episode of Kill Tony being on Netflix is why Netflix had their biggest quarter ever. It was, listen, we talked about the Kill Tony episode. I thought it was cool that it was on there. I thought it was a fine episode of the program. Again, I don't think it changed lives. It's so crazy that he believes that. I'm so curious to see where this goes, because a brain like that, it's not just going to be satisfied with having one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's going to do something. He's going to run for office. There's going to be some ridiculousness that comes out of Tony Hinchcliffe. He's not just going to be like, okay, I have this successful podcast that's doing really well. There will be a next level where he loses his mind. Netflix got its biggest quarter ever because of him. I didn't even hear that many people talk about it. People were like, oh, it's cool. But I think people were kind of underwhelmed. They were like, oh, I wish Kyle Dunnigan was on the whole time instead of bringing Segura in for no reason. Like, don't make us bash the show now, Tony. I thought it was good. It was whatever. But that to me is so crazy.
He's Steven Seagal this.
How so?
That's called the Steven Seagal. We played this clip on our show where Rob Schneider tells a story. Everyone knows this on the Stern Lore about how he walked into a trailer and he was waiting for Steven Seagal for an hour, and then Steven Seagal comes out from the back and he's like, "I just read the greatest script of all time." And Rob Schneider was like, "Oh yeah, who wrote it?" And he goes, "I did." So
I've heard that story.
He gave us he Seagal'd us. Netflix is afloat because of me.
Yeah, and I've always known he has an ego, and he can be a snippy little cunt on his show at times, but that's fine. I thought that was like part of the role. I thought he was the Simon Cowell of that show. Like, he had to be sort of overly nasty to some of the people to make it interesting. I didn't think he always executed it well, but that's what the show is, and it's obviously very successful. But then when I start hearing him saying, like, I thought I would change like 200,000 minds, if I'm lucky, maybe 10 or 20,000, maybe 100,000. If I'm lucky, it could be 200,000 votes would shift from Harris to Trump because he told a Puerto Rico joke at the Trump rally.
I think we're sweeping the thing under the rug here that I'm thinking about is I can totally imagine him like busting your balls as a barista while you're waiting for your coffee for 5 minutes. Like he is that guy. He is the asshole at Starbucks.
But he's very successful at that.
Yeah.
But then to say, oh no, I'm like a political influencer now. It's like what Portnoy a couple weeks ago when he said, I'm going to stop anti-Semitism. So what gets into these people's heads? Like, you're very successful. You're not going to change things that have been around for centuries or since the dawn of humanity. Like, Tony Hinchcliffe isn't going to suddenly make people go like, "Oh, I've wrong." So many people have talked about each political side, but this one guy making dick jokes up there, now it's going to change the way I vote. Like, you have so many people that are talented at that are really good at talking about why, Trump is good, why Trump has been slandered in the media for all these years, whatever. You have so many people that's their forte. That's what they're very good at. And that hasn't changed anybody's minds. Everyone's still exactly where they were 10 years ago for the most part. But Tony Hinchcliffe is going to get on the stage and say, Puerto Rico is garbage. And people are going to be like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand the error of my ways.
My mom called me. She's like, I'm going to vote now because I saw this weird-looking guy at the Trump rally.
Yeah,
like a skeleton, but
a guy that went up at 1:30 in the afternoon. Like, if people didn't try to go after him for the Puerto Rico joke, which that was crazy. It was so silly. And in a way, Tony did influence the election because of that, I think. people are just like, all right, we're not going to deal with this bullshit again. Like people just going after you for making jokes or whatever. So it might have impacted the election in that way. But if that didn't make news, no one would have really talked about it. It just would have been, hey, Tony Hinchcliffe performed at 1:30. It would have been a kind of a crazy footnote. Like, oh, that's cool. Trump had a comedian on his rally. Good for him. No one would have talked about it. No one would have said, wow, there's this really powerful speech from Tony Hinchcliffe yesterday.
Well, even the towel guy takes like, if the Celtics win a championship, even like the last guy in the locker room's like to his friends, it's like, I won a championship. You know what I'm saying? So maybe there's a little bit of that. You're just part of the team that did well.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
We have some super chats here, Mike, before we move on to the next one. They're going to shit on us for a little bit. Electra, are you ready to be shat? Here we go.
Oh, yes. Always. Port Film Co-op, $2. This CGI sidekick couldn't wash Craig's car.
Mm-mm. It's a van, by the way.
That's true. It is a van. You're right.
Yes.
Port Film Co-op, another $2. I wish these co-hosts didn't survive the murder game.
Hey-o.
That's terribly hurtful.
I figure we'd get through these early, you know?
Port Film Co-op, again. Craig would never do such useless small talk.
He's into the big ideas of the universe, Craig.
No, that's true. Craig is a real deep thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'll be here next week.
Yes.
And Port Film Co-op. Tom Myers did some stand-up recently. It was good.
I imagine so. We'll get to Tom later.
Yes. A few more here.
Guess who? Port Film Co-op.
Jesus Christ.
When Craig is away, could Tom Myers sit in?
That
sure.
was interesting.
Yes. Say these all in one next time.
Gil 1995, $4.99. Happy Sunday, Mike. Shout out Daylords. Shout out Gil. Thank you.
A few more here.
Port Film Co-op.
God damn it.
The show is missing edge with the lack of Craig.
Right. We got it. Yes. Craig will be back next week.
We have an MSO here.
Craig will light the world on fire. The show's so much different when Craig's on. Like we have to. The sensors finally get to work again. People are manning the dump button. It's so much crazier when Craig's on, and we're gonna get a taste of that next week.
Mm-hmm.
And Griff, $2. Hey, y'all, like Red Bar? He can be divisive but funny. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. I actually asked Patrick Melton to come on the show in a couple weeks. We have to pre-record an episode, and I was thinking about interviewing Patrick Melton because there's a few topics I want to discuss with him. Particularly Dan Ninen is one of them. I want to talk to Patrick about he started in 2005, so way before a lot of other people in podcasting. So I'm curious about that. But another thing I'm curious about is Red Bar. I'm sure he's talked about it a bunch, but I'd like to talk to him about that whole saga. So yeah, I like Red Bar. I haven't checked him out in a long time, but this type of show is definitely inspired by what he started in other ways. So I like Red Bar. He would not care for this, what we do, I don't think. I think he'd have a lot of hurtful things to say about it, but I like him.
Right on. Don Fried Chicken. No Craig again. He told me he had a hot date at Chuck E. Cheese's.
I gotta say, are you guys I just did a whole segment where you barely spoke. Are you versus Craig? Does that have that much impact on the show where it changes it for people?
No,
I mean, maybe for them, maybe it does.
I can only watch when Craig is on.
I like to let you get revved up.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
Yeah. Then I come in and take over and destroy the show at the end when you're tired.
I appreciate it.
All right,
and we have another one from Port Film Co-op. Shout out Port Film Co-op.
Yes, thank you, buddy.
Watch Steven Seagal's first 5 films. They are great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Pushing back on your Steven Seagal bashing. I like that.
No, his movies are great. His personality is trash.
And
I liked when he was a cop. Did you ever watch that show?
Oh yes, no, that
was a reality show. Not he wasn't playing a cop. He became a cop in some rural town in America.
It's sort of Dog the Bounty Hunter, but with a lot less running.
Yeah,
he did not like to run. Last one here, Mike.
My friend Merch Mouse, $1.99. I love a Casey and Electra show.
Jesus. See, we started with hate and we end with love.
Good. Good.
Speaking of love, Electra really loves this guy. one Big J Oakerson.
I heard that in the intro. She's very,
Mhm.
very attracted to him, which is
Love
interesting.
that nail polish he wears. And
We like Big J Oakerson. Casey Day lied about booking him on the show.
I did.
So he's a friend of the show. Casey told, for anyone that doesn't know, Casey Day, for some reason, if I make fun of him, he always thinks I'm gonna be really mad at him. So he created this lie about booking Big J Oakerson to soften the blow. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then a couple weeks later, I realized, oh, this was all a ruse.
no, he really did. He told me. He really did.
Don't just say I told you. That doesn't help me.
No, he put a wig and fingerless gloves on and pretended to be him while we discussed his schedule.
Mikey's a busy guy, you know.
I
He'll
understand.
get back to us when he has time.
I'm sure Big J will be on this program any day now. I'm sure that was a real conversation that Casey Day had. But no, we like Big J Oakerson here, and he's a fan of. I don't know about what we do. He probably doesn't know we exist, unlike what Casey Day says. However, he does like the idea of what we do, and he's always defending, whether it's the Dabbleverse or channels like Podcast Cringe or Too Lazy to Try. Big J is always out there defending those, which I appreciate from comedians, because last week we had his podcast partner, Louis J. Gomez, in the chat as we were talking about Louis calling all of this very gay, which I get to a degree. But I think there is, people obviously like it, and I think a lot of these podcasts cease to exist if people didn't care as much about them, which I think Big J Oakerson understands. So he was on We Might Be Drunk with Sam Morrill and Mark Normand, and right at the end of the podcast, he gets this conversation and trying to teach them the ways of YouTube, I don't know, reaction shows.
Mm-hmm. This made me really like the guy.
Yeah.
I find all these things because I watch all of the podcast breakdown ones. I said this is my first time being here, but I know the set so well because you guys have a great podcast for the podcast Cringe and Comedy.
Oh, they love that shit.
Well, no, not even attacking you guys at all. Like, it's a good show for them to go at whoever the guest is, because they'll go, you could see Sam right here loses complete interest. They go, Sam was trying to wrap the show up right there, and you can see he just got drug into it some more.
It is true. The way we talked about We Might Be Drunk like 3 weeks ago. So maybe they do have a good format for that.
Half the time they always love going at Bert.
Yeah.
They always love going at Bert.
They love Bert.
So Bert's like, if you have
Or I
Bert in
hate
your
Bert.
podcast, they're always going to be like,
Oh, we did recently.
No. And it was great.
Pull
You guys
that
had
one
a good time.
I
But
think
it's like, it's a thing where it's like,
him,
but you can see it's like,
yeah.
Mark's over it. Dup.
Ah.
Sam doesn't want to talk about this conversation. Like, they're bringing. They also have no idea what people's like genuine relationships are and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he goes, Bert embarrassed himself. That came out like an hour after the episode came out. These guys are fucking on it.
Embarrasses himself. Is
That's it, Bert. Embarrassing.
Yeah, rock bottom.
Right there.
Don't give him attention.
Yeah, you're right.
Already
I don't
watched
want-
it.
I don't because I don't want them to shit in our.
So
guts.
I like that where Sam's like, don't give him attention, and their producer Salacuse is like, oh, I'm all in, baby. I already watched this. Don't worry about it. Like, I will say, I think I get the instinct to be like, don't give him attention. I think maybe that's true for just like, just the vicious comments or people that are going over the line. I think if you watched a lot of these videos, like I've always said, Brendan Schaub would be done well by doing a breakdown of the people who break him down. Maybe Brendan wouldn't, because I don't know how good he'd be at that. Like, I don't know if he would add particularly insightful commentary. But as you see with Jay here, like, Jay's been on the receiving end of a lot of this shit. We just talked about Red Bar. Red Bar has gone after Big J Oakerson several times. And Big J and Soder went on the bonfire and talked about how funny it was. So, like, I think I liked seeing Big J gets the idea that if you kind of embrace these guys, it shows everyone no one involved is all that bad. Like, I think a mistake, like, it's hard to call it a mistake because I think he was just being honest. But, like, Bert talked about the Legion of Skanks had him on to react to a Zac Amico song about him. And Bert was just like, oh, man, that really hurt my feelings. and he got like upset about it. And that just lets everyone know, like, all right, well, we know how to get to you now. Like, if you just play around with it and have a good time. And as you hear Big J here, like, just don't take it too seriously. None of these people know you. At the end of the day, it's kind of funny when people speculate on your relationships. Like, oh, Craig's not on the show this week because Mike hates him. Like if you do shit like that, if I'm reading that, it's kind of funny because it comes from nowhere. It's just baseless. So have a little fun with it. Like Sam's instinct is to be like, no, silence them, run away. And Jay and Syracuse are just like, no, it's funny. What's the big deal?
I'm 18 minutes into it.
Oh, but I said this to.
They get
I did
crazy
this when I was on Bert's show too, though. I'm like, these people are fans.
Oh, okay.
And
Of
they're
course.
It's Sports Center.
Right.
You never felt
Yes.
you never felt bad when you'd watch Sports Center all morning, and they were going like, "How is this guy getting a max contract with that sloppy, gross play?" We're like, "I know, you're right.
Yeah.
I paid."
Right.
So that's
Yes,
what
that's what I've been trying to say the whole time. It's the analogy I tried to make to Lewis last week, where it's like we're giving our opinions on all this stuff. If you're watching political commentary, you don't go like, "Well, you don't even really know this guy," you know? No, of course not. I'm interested in what they're putting out there, so I'm talking about it. You know, like they're putting it out there for public consumption. If you're putting it out there into the guise of like, okay, now give me feedback. We actually specifically request for it in the comments, but only good stuff. Like only talk about how great I am. That's very silly. I will say, like, I try to be more. I thought about doing a segment this week. It just didn't. There were no good clips that could convey what I enjoyed about it. But Rick Glassman did an episode where it seems like Paul Rudd is supposed to be on the podcast. Like the thumbnail suggests Paul Rudd is the guest. But you learn early on there was a booking issue and Paul Rudd isn't on. So he just talks to his assistant. And then over the course of I realized it right away, but I read some of the comments. Some people didn't get it till like 20 minutes in or something. But you realize who the guest is, and it's kind of a very funny reveal. And he just commits to the bit for the full hour. So I want there's sometimes shows like that we talk. Or Matan Evan is a guy that we've talked about before. Like sometimes I do talk about shit that I like. So I try not to be negative all the time with it. But like the negative stuff is often more interesting to break down and talk about. So fun to do. But like yeah, Jay has the perfect analogy where you're never watching Sports Center going like, how dare these guys? They don't even know LeBron. You know, like why would they say that about him?
And then there's some guys that are just confusing, like G.D. Fenderson, where you have no opinion. You just watch it in awe and wonder.
GD was in our comments. I've been breaking news. Do we have a breaking news sound?
Electra, get the breaking news sound.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
It's not worth it. I've been invited on Coffee with the Dog.
Woo!
Who's the dog? Is that GD?
No. It's Mind Dog. So I guess I'll be going on to confront GD Fenderson.
Oh,
no.
the two of you are going to be on together.
I guess so. I think GD's always on. So I guess so, yeah.
I
I said I can't do it this week, but probably next week I'll be able to.
We need to send you with a series of screenshots of all the closed caption from the video and just be like, explain everyone go.
I'm not mad. I think this guy thinks I'm like mad at GD or going to confront him. I'm a fan.
We're just confused fans.
That is one to Jay's point here. That is one thing I always try to be aware of, even with guys that are taxing, like Steel Toe or Stuttering John or whoever. Ultimately, I'm a fan. I'm bummed that Stuttering John doesn't do shows anymore. Like it's a void in my entertainment life. So I'm ultimately kind of bummed out about that. So in a way, I am fans of these guys, even the ones that frustrate.
Yeah, Joey C's summer off is hurting me in the entertainment, man.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And no
They're
one
still
else
consuming all of our shit.
Well, we don't have a TMZ or anything, so this is where people get their drama, their comedy drama.
Some people go like, listen, like anything, people go too far, and there's people who are assholes about it. But I mean, most of them are like a fan breaking down. 'Cause even the ones that go at Bert, like one of the guys who goes at Bert a lot, is pretty like even keeled in the whole thing, and he'll be like, I've been starting to like Bert's things a little more lately. He's like, he's getting into the, it's like they don't mean anything, but they're just making content.
Yeah, I mean, I've shit on.
I think most of them don't.
And I'll say, like, I don't think anyone ever starts out expecting you to watch it. Like, it's weird for me. Like, last week we were talking about Luis J. Gomez, and he was in the comments refuting what we said. You're like, holy shit. You don't think not that like you're saying things. I try not to say things I wouldn't say to the people, but like you're not expecting them to be like, hey, that's not true. And then like ultimately when it is, like we had Tom Myers on to talk about the stuff that we talked about, and a friendship blossoms. You become best friends with the guy.
Best friends.
Best friends.
Oh no.
Yeah, I guess.
I think
but,
most. I think
but,
most.
But we're so sensitive. I think they forget that we like watch everything and no one
Mark,
talks about it.
don't tell them that. They're bloodthirsty monsters. We're all right, but the rest of them.
That's an inside thought, Mark.
You can't tell them that, Mark. Well, luckily, I think most of them like Mark Norman, so I think he's safe. But
here's the bullseye, guys, right here in the middle, right where my heart is. The things I care about. Here are they on a list. Get them. Jesus.
At that,
right?
We have to dish it and take it. Like,
I guess so.
There comes to a point where you start moving up, and like, first of all, internally, you stop taking it.
Yeah.
Because you're moving up the ranks, so you're the disher only. Do you know what I mean? So
And the hope is that you get busy enough
you don't
to
have
not
a
look.
You don't have a person higher up than you, kind of, being like, "Shut up with your stupid shirt, and act and all that kind of stuff anymore." You know what I mean? And like, we still need some of that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And it's not like no comedians have ever talked about people they don't know. You know what I mean? That's always the argument I hear is like, you don't even know me. Why are you commenting on my life, you loser? It's like, well, you don't know Kanye West, but you're free to talk about him because he's in the news. Like, this is all stuff in our version of the news. It's the stuff we consume every week, the stuff we're interested in. So I think Big J does a good job of breaking that down to these guys where they're kind of like, oh, they're vicious monsters. And Jay's like, no, they're fans. This is how they consume the podcast. And as he said, in every fan base has people. If you go on their Reddit or whatever, you'll see people where it's like, Jesus, why do you even watch if you hate the show so much? That's a level I don't understand, where they're just complaining about the show constantly. But if you watch like Podcast Cringe or channels like that, Too Lazy to Try, even like Joke World is always positive. And I don't think that's like good either. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch Joke World, you're like, well, he's never going to be honest about anyone because he wants to have these guys on. He likes that he can interview Adam Ray and Tom Segura, so he's never going to make fun of them. So that's the opposite of that, where you're only saying positive shit. If you watch like Podcast Cringe, it's like he's breaking it down and analyzing it and making its own content out of that for someone that wouldn't watch the whole episode of Two Bears, One Cave. Just to use this as the example, some of you might not have watched the whole episode of We Might Be. Obviously, they have a wildly bigger audience than this, so it's not like they need help promoting. But like, you guys might not have gotten to the end of We Might Be Drunk, but this I think is interesting to you, so we're talking about it and breaking it down. And Big J gets that; it puts it perfectly.
I think Sam agrees too. He's basically saying, I'd stare at all the stuff about me, but I hope to get too busy to be able to. So that's sort of the same thing,
Right.
Of the thing, it can't just be everybody.
But it's better when it comes from a friend. It comes from a place of like love than just a stranger who's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, and they put editing time and they put clips together. It's like
so funny.
Must have taken 10
But
days.
you see comics who like didn't come up with a comedian friend group, and they do shit sometimes. Where I'm like, oh, you need a friend to tell you not to do that shit.
Oh, totally.
So you need your comedy friends to keep it real with you.
And that's what we are, Sam. We're just your best friends, guiding you so that you don't make the same mistakes again. When I heard that, to your point, it makes you like and appreciate Big J, and I think he does get. I don't think he always listens to the notes. For like we talked about the Matt and Shane basketball saga, and I think to this day, Big J doesn't get why that was embarrassing. So he doesn't always listen. But I do think he gets it, and I thought that was such a great analogy. It's something I've been trying to say for months now. We've been talking about this, and Big J put it better than I've been able to. So I thought it was worth playing.
It is. We're all just watching Sports Center of like loser Sports Center kind of.
Exactly.
Not athletics, but like the other side of things.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, we have one super chat here, Mike. Electra, if you're around, we'll read that and then get on to another weird podcaster.
Definitely. James R. 499. Happy Sunday, y'all. Just here to bust Mike's balls about being in love with Bill Bergen. Skull.
I can't shake this. We haven't talked about him in weeks.
There was some liberal talk in the chat in the beginning too, but we didn't want to highlight it.
Oh, no, go ahead. Because of the Hinchcliffe stuff?
Well, yeah, no, people were just, discussing your...
You understand, I would have said this if he said, I tried to convince 200,000 people to vote for Joe Biden. It's just as crazy.
That would have been crazier, actually, I think.
Right. I didn't vote, but if you made me vote for one of the two, I would have voted for Trump.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Vote.
But my point is, it had nothing to do with what Tony Hinchcliffe said about it.
That was the deciding factor for me. I was like, no, now I'm not.
Sure, I
no,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. On to Amico.
Oh yeah, I thought this was a really good segment, a good showing by Zac Amico, who's on his own now. Zac Amico's Morning Zoo, formerly the Real Ass Podcast and Lewis and Zach. But Zach is off on his own, hosting his own show. And I think this was proof. If you're wondering, can Zach hold his own on a podcast? This was proof that he's able to do it, and he's learned from his old friend, the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, because there's a little bit of Lewis that comes out in this, in that anger. But Zach had maybe the worst podcast guest I've ever heard, because they're bad podcast guests that ultimately are entertaining. It's like, oh, this is so bad, it's funny. But Akeem Woods was on a recent episode of Zac Amico's Morning Zoo and did something that's so infuriating as a podcast guest. It completely not go with the flow of the show and interrupt for your own benefit over and over and over again. And it was exhausting. So I think it starts out with the Mike Myers stuff, right?
It starts with Diddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the... Oh, well, I think it gets to the Mike Myers. But they're talking about the Diddy trial. And Zach has some interesting... Oh, I remember what this is now. Sorry. They're talking about the Diddy trial, and he gives an opinion that is so enraging. And it's just, again, stopping the show for nothing. A complete divergence from what they're talking about. Listen to this opinion that he has.
Following the Diddy trial this morning.
Oh, it's happening.
It's going. They're still picking jurors. They're having some issues. One of the jurors they picked already worked for the company that made the Diddy documentary, and they had to dismiss him.
Oh yeah, because bias, yeah.
Which is hilarious. Of all the people to pick.
I will say finding a jury for him is going to be so hard because he's so famous.
Yeah,
so
I feel
it's
like they would
hard
have
to
to do
find
it in,
someone
like,
who's
Montana.
not biased.
They might need to do it in like Montana or something. Like
but that's the thing. But they can't really do that either because it has to be a jury of his peers.
Yeah.
So there has to be black people. There has to be black people on the jury. And
not how
every
that works.
black person everywhere knows who the fuck Diddy is.
That would be very true.
So
yeah, that is accurate. I mean, what are they? It could just be Vietnamese immigrants.
But then it wouldn't be his peers.
What do you mean?
Listen to this idiot. But a jury of your peers just means other citizens, right? It's not.
They don't have to be your. They have to be your height too. I think.
Yeah, they have to be your doppelganger. We try to find the 12 people that look most like Diddy.
You share a birthday with them. Yeah, there's a whole spec.
They put in the paper. We're having a Diddy lookalike contest. The 12 winners get jury duty.
That's funny.
They have to be a jury of peers, people who are his peers, like black people have to be on the jury.
Black billionaires.
Well, you're saying
We only found 4. You're free to go.
Right? Why would the black element be the only thing? It's like, well, do they all have to be fathers? Do they all have to be in the music business? Why would we're only looking for skin color in this, guys? That's the only part of it that matters.
The whole point is supposed to not be handpicked, so it's supposed to be random citizens from your jurisdiction.
Now, I bet, based on other celebrity trial, I would bet that his lawyers would try and get a few black people on the jury. I would imagine, right? But that doesn't. There's no legal no only blacks.
Yeah.
They need to be his peers, blacks only.
Mm-hmm. Haven't heard that is not an amendment I was aware of. That one.
I like the idea. That's just reverse racism, where it's like, oh, obviously whites aren't my peers. They're different than me.
Yeah, peers, these people mostly don't have jobs to go to jury duty. You want some people that are like you a little bit, I guess.
Can you go back just a little bit? I want to see if he responds to this accusation. Yeah, Vietnamese, not our peers.
But then it wouldn't be his peers.
What do you mean?
They have to be a jury of his peers, people who are his peers, like black people have to be on the jury.
What you're saying? Vietnamese people aren't peers to black people?
No, I'm saying it has to be a black person.
If every time a black person a black person on trial you needed black people, we'd be out of black people.
Well, yeah, because we're over policed. Because systematic racism.
Of course.
Yeah.
Zach's just trying to move on. Yeah, of course. Zach making it funny, and this idiot going back to... So you can see that he's dumb, which that often makes for good podcasting. If you have a dumb guy in the room, that could be fun. But it devolves into this, what we're about to hear. This is the Mike Myers thing, right?
Correct, Mike Myers.
So Zach has a bit of news around the Diddy trial that involves Mike Myers, and Akeem Woods just slams the brakes on this thing.
One of the possible people that might be calling this trial, Canadian legend, actor, comedian, Mike Myers.
No.
Has been named as a potential witness in the Diddy trial. I don't know how they even met. Did he work on
Austin? Mike Myers.
Austin Powers, baby.
Really? The guy who plays Austin Powers?
You know who Mike Myers is from SNL?
I'm not good with names.
Yeah, but that's a name you got to be good with.
not
It's
a
Mike
beer.
fucking Myers.
No,
That's crazy,
don't know.
dude.
It's the best comic voice of a generation.
Yeah, for white
Well,
people's
that's
generation.
No.
For white
that's not a
people.
wh-
What? I mean,
Both of
like,
them.
I think Mike Myers, you could argue, is you questioned voice of the generation. Is that what I heard? I kind of agree with you. But you could absolutely argue Mike Myers is one of the biggest stars. He has 3 massive franchises: Austin Powers, Wayne's World, and Shrek. 3 enormous franchises that allowed Mike Myers to not do anything for the last 15 years. Like, where the fuck has he been? I know he had that Netflix show. But other than that, you never see the guy. But he was massive. Zach said something. Zach's around my age. I think like 34-ish, 35. And he mentioned something that Akeem Woods is his age. So, like, to be our age and not know the name Mike Myers, just in the 90s, SNL, Austin Powers, Wayne's World, and you're in comedy, it seems impossible that you would never come across that name, to the point where, like, it should at least be a name where you hear it and be like, okay, from context, I can gauge who that is. You don't have to slam the brakes and go, who? Who is this?
Yeah, it's aggressively ignorant. And then I'm going to stop the show to tell you how my ignorance.
And then to make it something where it's like, well, black people have never heard of Austin Powers. I don't know if that's true. Have they heard of SNL?
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't be on the Diddy trial, this guy. He's not a peer.
That's right.
Voice of a generation.
Yeah, for white people's generation.
No, that's not a white black thing. That's Mike Myers.
No idea who he is.
The guy Kanye was standing next to when he said George doesn't care about black people.
It's Mike Myers.
Okay,
No. This isn't like.
No, the thing he's most famous for, the Kanye video. But he said, he goes, no idea who he is. You do have an idea who he is. When he said Austin Powers, you were like, oh, okay. So you have an idea of who he is.
Yeah. This guy's negging. He's negging them.
It's exhausting. If you might be thinking, well, Mike, he didn't know one name. It gets so exhausting as this podcast goes on.
I will say.
I know who. I've watched Austin Powers. If you had a gun to me, it's like, who's the actor? I wouldn't have said Mike Myers. I don't know the nigga's name.
That's fine, but he is.
How about any of the actors? Because he plays every fucking role in the movie. It never occurred to you to think of one guy in the film?
I don't know him, but I know that Dr. Evil guy. No, it's the same guy. Oh, that fat guy. I like that fat guy.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying I don't know his
remember bringing
name.
in Wayne's World my senior year of high school to watch something in class, and every black kid looked at it like I put on the fucking Zapruder film. Like, they had no idea. I remember a guy standing up in the first 10 minutes of Wayne's World and being, yo, I got Scary Movie 4 on DVD right now.
Yeah. Zach, at every turn so far, is doing a good job of defending him and making this guy not feel like a complete idiot. So Zach's being a good host so far.
In a David Allen Coe hat, which is amazing if you think of all the ironies around that.
Oh,
what's going on right now?
But that's the thing. That's the thing that I don't think sometimes people don't realize is like, just because your stuff is mainstream doesn't mean we have to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, like, if you show me a picture, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Austin Powers. I don't know his
Well, this
name.
guy really doesn't think black people are peers with anyone else.
We got our own raft. We watch our own movies.
Segregation is over, Akeem. Like,
segregation now, segregation forever.
Is it crazy? I think Eddie Murphy was probably a bigger star, but just because, like, Eddie Murphy was on SNL, has had multiple massive film series. Would it be crazy to say Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers are similar levels? Is that a crazy comparison?
No. Monetarily, I bet they're close.
I know who fucking Eddie Murphy is. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be white to know every black actor or comedian. And it's the same with being black. Like, you're in comedy. Does that mean you don't know who fucking Jerry Seinfeld is because it was for white people?
Well, technically it was Murphy. I thought it was an Irishman for the first time I heard it, and I'm like, oh, he's black.
I know a Tribe Called Quest, even though I'm white.
Oh, hey.
You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can know other things that aren't necessarily in your realm.
Mm-hmm.
But like y'all stuff is the default, so you just assume that everyone has to know the default. But in actuality,
I don't think SNL is a white thing.
I don't think SNL is. But I think Austin. I mean, Austin. Big. I don't know his name though. I knew who he was. I'm like, yo, that's the dude who plays Austin Powers. But I guarantee you, a lot of people don't know that he's named. They're like, oh, nigga, that's Austin Powers. That's what they would say.
Not a lot of people in their mid-30s.
Mm-hmm. Remember, this is the Diddy trial we're talking about. I forgot. I had to go look at the notes again.
Right. No, the wheels came off. It became about Mike Myers.
Baltimore walked around the hood and saw a picture of him. Most people would be like, oh, that's Austin Powers. They're not gonna be like, oh, that's Mike Myers.
He's pretty famous.
He's pretty, as far as our generation.
They're like, I don't even know if that elaborate scheme that you've cooked up, where we're now going around black neighborhoods holding up a picture of Mike Myers and say, okay, this is a totally different argument, but even that I'm not sure I can give you.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. They didn't hold up a picture of Mike Myers and go, who is this? They said Mike Myers, they said his name, and then said the actor in Austin Powers, and you said, I have no idea who that is. That's a very different game.
Mm-hmm. Zac Amico's face says he wants to dismiss this juror, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, he's not one of their peers, so Zach wants to get him out of the room.
Yes.
Whites only if it's a group of peers. But Zach's kind of walking the line of like, boy, this is idiotic. But this guy's a friend of mine, so I'll try and keep this on track here.
Really famous.
I'm not saying he's not famous. I'm just saying I didn't know his name.
Okay,
fair enough. That's surprising.
Yeah,
and maybe, you know.
I only bring up the SNL because he was part of like what I think our generation would consider like good SNL.
Yeah, I mean I didn't watch SNL back then, so I didn't.
We know.
I didn't see him on SNL.
I get it.
I didn't watch Cedric the Entertainer's show, but I know who he is. You know?
That was so cool. I didn't watch that show that I know everyone on.
And right there, Zach says our generation, which led me to believe he's around our age. So it is, it's crazy, but that happens all the time. Absolutely. Someday on the Kirk Minahan show, they could bring up a name that I'll be like, who's that? And they could be like, you don't know, so-and-so. That could absolutely happen to me as a one-off. It happens 6 more times throughout this podcast. It's crazy what we're about to get into. The amount of brake slamming he does the rest of this episode.
Next one's titled Get Him to the Greek.
Okay, so Get Him to the Greek, a movie with mostly white people, but Diddy is in it. So you think maybe Akeem would be allowed to have heard of this. And again, Get Him to the Greek, it's not The Godfather, I understand. But if you're around my age, like born in the 90s, late 80s, you probably have heard of that movie, but it eludes this man somehow.
Poor man's.
What was Get Him to the Greek about? I never saw it.
It's a spin-off of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It's like he had to get a rock star to his big show.
Yeah, he had to get a rock star to his big show. It was like Jason Segel hanging dong. Very nice piece in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
And did P. Diddy just play himself?
No, he was like the record owner. I think he was the guy who owned the record company.
Oh, okay.
That Russell Brand's band was playing for.
Wait, who you said have a nice dick in what movie?
Jason Segel in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It's insufferable. It's exhausting. Everything, and it has nothing to do with the conversation. Zach made a joke about Get Him to the Greek because they're talking about Diddy. Diddy's in that movie, and he goes, "What's Get Him to the Greek about?" Who gives a shit? You're not doing a movie review show. It doesn't matter. And then within that conversation, they mentioned Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Who's Jason Segel? What's Forgetting Sarah Marshall? It would be like if you guys right now were going, who's Zac Amico? What else has he done? And I'm like, the audience knows who Zac Amico is. I don't need. Who's this other comic? Is Brett Raybould? Who is he? What? Shannon? Does Shannon produce other shows? Guys, I'm trying to do a thing here. We're having a conversation. Just go with it.
What is comedy? Go.
What are podcasts? When do they start?
Mike, I have an answer. I think this guy doesn't know anything because he was too busy slamming puss This guy is
he's very
puss
gay.
man.
No, I think he's openly gay.
He just hasn't found the right lady. Like, you just need to meet the right lady.
Well, no, that's another thing. Much like being black, they keep mentioning. They're talking about. I'm trying to think what the exact conversation was. It might have been like Bill Belichick or something like that, because they talk about just fucking a young girl, even though it's ruining your life, and it gets brought up. I forget by who. They're like, it doesn't seem like that happens in the. Oh, it was Akeem Woods. It goes, it doesn't matter how much gay sex I have. I don't need it with someone that. He had some weird analogy about like gay people don't need that. And they're like, oh, well, what about this? And he goes, no. Like, he just shuts down every analogy they come up with. He's having no fun on this podcast. I don't know why he did it.
Yeah, he drops his towels.
All right, next one's called Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay, so they explain Forgetting Sarah. They're like, Jason Segel, he drops his towel in the movie. All right, we can move on because that's irrelevant to the conversation, right?
He's tall.
What's the why'd he put out his dick? Well, I'm all for it, but like, what was the reason?
It was kind of like,
who cares? Who cares? This conversation was about Diddy's trial. Hey, isn't it crazy that Mike Myers might be a witness at Diddy's trial? And it's devolved so much that he's like, why in the script of Forgetting Sarah Marshall does Jason Segel drop his towel? Who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. You haven't seen the movie. What does it matter to you?
Breaks up with him and he's wearing a towel and as he's crying, the towel falls off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a moment. Yeah, it's just a tall man crying with his penis out.
I've been there.
Hey, who hasn't, right?
Come on. I've been there.
Any luck, Shannon?
I'll let you know when I find
trying
it.
to move on.
Sorry.
Son of a
I don't know why
surprising.
it's hard to find.
That's surprising.
Okay.
The internet, I would think there's just a Google image.
Well, the
You
movie
just
is an old
Jason-
movie, so maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's after 2000.
10,
That's not an old movie.
It's one of the best. That's like
He doesn't have a concept. He thinks
top-
this is in black and white. This Jason Segel film where he's just been told his towel. He drops his towel and they show his penis. He's like, oh well, certainly that's from the silent era. I'm sure the footage probably isn't available.
Pre-talkie.
Your romantic comedy.
What was that movie about?
God damn it!
Sarah Marshall?
Yeah. She had amnesia or something?
Son of a bitch!
Now it's a bit. Now it's got to be a bit.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Go back a little bit. It has nothing to do with the conversation. Shut the fuck up, man. Who cares?
I think there's just a Google image.
Well, the
You
movie
just
is an old
Jason-
movie, so maybe.
Yeah.
It's not. It's after 2000.
10,
That's not an old movie.
It's one of the best. That's like a top tier romantic comedy.
What was that movie about?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yeah. She had amnesia or something?
No, that's 50 First Dates.
Oh, okay. Well,
You've seen movies, right?
yeah, just not.
It's short attention span theater, if you remember that bit.
Now Zach is getting. But here's the thing. Now I'm not even consumed by not knowing these things. It's like, all right, he's ignorant to the comedy world. Apparently, he's never heard of movies or people in them. He's just that's not something he's well versed in. That's fine. What's bugging the shit out of me now is the neediness for your own self-interest. Everything that's brought up, what is that? Forgetting Sarah Marshall. What is it? What's the plot? It's not adding anything to the conversation for me to describe it to you. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm. Jay and Silent Bob, sorry, is this next one.
Okay, well, we all know Jay and Silent Bob at least, and here's the thing, is like Akeem Woods will be at Skankfest. Jason Mewes goes to Skankfest. He went last year. He's going again this year. So surely Jason Mewes is a name that can get mentioned without having to stop the entire show, and we can just move seamlessly through this topic.
Doubt that.
What celebrity dick surprised you? For me, it's Jason Mewes in Zac and Miri Make a Porno.
Wait, does he have a big dick?
Didn't know that one.
I thought he did,
And
but
he
then
doesn't.
apparently Kevin Smith mentions
Okay,
that
all right.
Affleck said,
Hey, hold on. He's going flow. He's just saying, hey, does he have a bit? All right, we're moving through this topic. Maybe Casey was wrong about this one.
Jason Mewes is like 2 pumps away from fully hard
in the
movie. Like he's definitely
he fluffed as much as possible.
I think he is like chub to the point of
Who's
like
Jason Mewes?
Son of
Jay
a
from-
bitch!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God damn, we almost got through it. Akeem, without knowing who he is, you just had a conversation about him. That was fine. We don't need to backtrack and explain every detail about every name that's mentioned. He said already, Zach said, Jason Mewes is in the film Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That's who he is. What more do you want about him?
I'm now convinced this guy's like in some sort of 12 Monkeys like plot where he keeps getting sent back in time but can't remember every 30 seconds. It's the only way that explains it, Mike.
You don't need to know who Jason Mewes is because Zach has given you enough details for this conversation. He said Jason Mewes is a guy who's in Zach and Mary Make a Porno, and he has a surprisingly large penis. For that conversation, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know his arrest record, his family history. You don't need to know anything else about him. Zach has given you the framework to have a very easy conversation. And this guy just keeps jamming those brakes.
Describe his face for me.
Jay and Silent Bob.
All right, now getting frustrated is the next one.
Yeah, so you've heard a couple times. Zach's like, Jason Mewes is an actor. He's in a movie. Forgiving Sarah Marshall it's a film from 2008 or something. Like, these are things you should know, but I'll put training wheels on and we'll have this conversation at a crawl's speed. So this is where Zach has finally like had enough here, I think.
Enhance.
He'll be at Skankfest this year. If anybody
Really
wants to see that beautiful piece in real life,
you might get a chance to suck it.
Who's in Skankfest? That dude?
Jason Mewes, the human being we're talking about.
Oh, you think he's going to be in Skankfest?
Yes.
Dicks that have surprised me, I don't know if any has surprised me. I mean,
you know how
it's
much,
fun.
Casey, how do you think I would react if right now I would be like, if I was like, and it's funny because usually he hosts a really good podcast. Like Zach is very funny. He's one of the best snipers in podcasting, I think. If you stopped the conversation and said, wait, who's Zach? This late into it, I'd lose my mind. I wouldn't know how to react to that even. Like,
Mike, what's Skankfest?
We've been talking. It doesn't matter. Shut up. Just let me have the conversation.
Funny when you just know a celebrity is a big dick.
Now they're just like, I think Brett Raybould is the other comic in there. I'm not going to explain to you who Brett Raybould is, but he just tries to zoom past. He's like, Skankfest. Let's talk about that now.
Mm-hmm. He's like a yellow lab of a comedian. You know,
yes.
He's just like a golden retriever.
What's that?
Yeah. Zach loses it is next.
Okay, this is where it's just Zach can't answer any more questions. He can't. There are only so many times you can stop the host of a podcast and go, "What is that? Who's that? What's that mean? Why? Why are we talking about this?" And this is all within, by the way. I think this is the first half of the podcast. I think this is like 29 minutes in or something. No.
Yeah.
Most of that was from the first half. This could be a little later, but most of that was from early in the podcast.
Yeah, everything that we just watched was the first 22 minutes of.
Yeah. Can you imagine in 22 minutes that many times he goes, "Well, what is this? What is that? What am I watching? Explain this to me."
I'd be like, "Don't come high to my podcast."
It's honestly like it's a joke in a children's movie. It's like the fucking Ellen DeGeneres' character in Finding Nemo, where it's like that would be amusing to a child. And I'm not going to explain what Finding Nemo is or who Ellen DeGeneres is. Figure it out on your own through context. But it's something a child would find amusing to keep going. Well, who is that? What is this? I don't remember. What is that? What are we talking about? But to any adult, it's like, come on, man, just keep up.
All right, now he's gonna lose it on us.
Good. And now, did he say he has like nightmares about her or something too?
Oh, they're talking about
yes.
They're talking about Kelsey Grammer.
Okay.
Who, for anyone that doesn't know, he was the star of Frasier and Cheers, and he's a very, very successful television actor. But they're talking about a sad story with Kelsey Grammer about how he was recounting the death of his sister and how it affected him and all that. And they're having that they're minutes into this conversation, and this is Akeem Wood's take.
But also that her spirit kind of stays with him, and it's her spirit that led him to write his memoir.
Oh God!
That he kind of gives her credit for it. But he said that the whole thing has haunted him. He speaks about it a lot in the memoir.
Wait, is he out of jail?
Kelsey Grammer?
Is he in jail?
Wait, what are we talking about?
Why would Kelsey Grammer be in jail?
Wait, was she saying? So she's saying that her dead sister. Wait, confused. What happened?
Are you here?
I guess not. What? So what?
Do you know who Kelsey Grammer is?
No.
Oh.
He's a different
I
color
wonder
now,
what's
Mike.
the most famous celebrity we can name that you don't know. Let's
You've
try.
never heard of Frasier? Cheers.
Yes, I know those shows. I don't watch them.
How do you know Frasier and Cheers? I'll give you Cheers. Cheers is an ensemble calc. I will grant you, if you know of Cheers but haven't necessarily watched it, it's certainly possible to get away with not knowing who Kelsey Grammer is. How do you know Frasier and not know Frasier? Analytically, it makes no sense. It seems impossible.
This is why Kelsey Grammer couldn't get any other jobs. He was Frasier forever.
No one knew his goddamn name.
He did one comedy movie in the 90s. They're like, nope, you're Frasier.
Literally said Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, but Mike
The
Myers
Simpsons.
is bigger.
Yeah, I know.
Mike Myers is bigger than Kelsey Grammer.
I know who Mike Myers is. I don't know his name. So if you put me a picture,
No. You don't know. You said, who's Mike Myers? You don't know who he is. Now he's changing it to, if you showed me a picture of them, I would know them. Before, he said, bring a picture to any black neighborhood, and they wouldn't know who it was.
They've just ripped up the script and go, we're just going to name things and tell us if you know them. Street.
It's got to be impossible to have a pop culture conversation with this guy.
Yes.
Who could you name in society? You'd have to have him send a list of all the names he's ever heard before, and be like, okay, these are the only topics we can discuss, or these things involving these people.
My guess is he's an aficionado on black gay men. He'll name them all, one to the end of them.
I'm not even like. It's one thing to not know all these names. Like, that's pretty crazy for a guy in comedy to not know a single one of those names is a little unusual. Or movies that they've mentioned or anything. Like, that's a little unusual. But what's vexing to me is the inability to have a conversation about them. Like, at a certain point, you can just go, like, I don't really know who Kelsey Grammer is, but through context clues, I'll be able to keep up with this conversation. Mm-hmm. Or even just be like slightly quieter during this conversation because you don't know a lot about Kelsey Grammer. That's also fine. Mm-hmm. The neediness and the self-involvement to every 5 minutes stop the conversation and go, who is that? What is this? It's infuriating.
It is.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, I might know who that is.
Beast from X-Men.
Now we're getting deep.
I know
No, it's
X-Men.
not. Yeah, he knows X-Men.
You don't?
He knows everything, but he doesn't know anything.
I will say that, like, if he doesn't know Frasier, he's not going to know an X-Men reference. If he doesn't know who Kelsey is by the main role that he played for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he likes bears, Mike. He would know Beast then, I guess.
Beast.
Yes, I know the character.
There you go.
Beast.
But you've never seen Frasier.
What?
No, I didn't watch Frasier.
You've never heard of Cheers.
That's
I've
white
heard
people.
of Cheers.
Frasier
Yes.
is white.
I've heard of Frasier and Cheers. I watched neither.
Neither have I.
But you don't have to. And Frasier in particular is a very white show. That, like, if a black guy doesn't know Frasier, I'm not going to fault you there. But
It's in Seattle. We understand.
It's the compilation of events here. It's the
Mm-hmm.
you've stopped every conversation to go, give me a detailed background of what we're talking about.
Is that Kelsey Grammer?
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey
yeah.
Grammer?
Chelsea-
Oh, I thought it was
Chelsea.
a dude the whole time. I thought it was a woman. I mean,
No, you
So-
said, is he still in jail? Like, he's also a liar, which is an annoying thing about this. He changes the argument every time. He goes, is he still in jail? He said that earlier. And then he's like, oh, I thought it was a woman.
Is this his comedy stylings? Have you seen his stand-up?
I know nothing about him other than being on this. I think he might have been on when it was Zach and Lewis as well. But this is all I know of him.
So it might be worth a visit to watch some of his stand-up. Because if
Sure.
it's this diluted, it might be amazing.
His crowd work is great, where he asks someone a question, like, hey, what do you do for a living? And then they say, oh, I'm an engineer. And he's like, I don't know what that is. What is that? Explain that to me.
Explain that, yeah. Write that down and slip it to me. I need to study this.
who is he?
He's Frasier!
Oh,
That's what we've been fucking talking about the whole time!
so his
Are you out of your fucking clue?
so his sister.
You're driving me fucking
So his
Mike, I don't know this guy, but this does not seem to be a reaction he does that often.
No, it takes a lot. Zach is very mild mannered. It takes a lot to get him here.
That face is fucking hilarious.
sister died?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, man.
Hold on, go back a little bit because Zach's reaction is important here. It's not about not knowing Kelsey Grammer. It's they've been talking about Kelsey Grammer. Now they've filled him in. And he's like, oh, so what's the deal with this guy? Did his sister pass away? It's the conversation they're having, you asshole. Now you're just blatantly being rude to them and not listening to what they're saying.
Take notes. You're having troubles.
He's Fraser.
Oh.
That's what we've been fucking talking about the whole time.
So
Are you out of your fucking gourd?
So his sister.
You're driving me fucking nuts.
So his sister
Are
died?
you? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, man.
I thought Kelsey Grammer was a country singer.
I could see that as
That makes sense, but holy shit, dude.
He's like, all right, that's not bad. That I get that. It does feel like a name that could be, but that's not what I'm mad about.
It's even worse to get back in the flow. He sees him that angry. He's like, all right, now it's time to get back in the flow. Now Amico's like, damn you.
Or white country singer that I didn't know
There's
about.
a difference between I'm black and I haven't seen the show, and I'm not listening when people are fucking talking.
Well, I don't know who that is.
The guy from Frasier.
Okay, I didn't watch that.
I don't give a fuck. I said it 85 fucking times.
Okay, so he's the guy from Frasier, and his sister.
If I'm Kelsey Grammer, that's my ringtone. The guy from Frasier. The guy from Frasier.
But Zach is so right. You're like, you don't need to be well versed in Kelsey Grammer. Zach's up. Kelsey Grammer's sister died. This is a story in the news. He's talking about how it haunts him. You don't even need to know he's in Frasier. You could just have a conversation about it's a guy whose sister died, and her memory haunts him. Have a conversation about that. You don't need to know his fucking resume. You don't need to know he was in a show with Martin Lawrence on FX that got canceled. That's irrelevant to the conversation.
This is the most infuriating guest I think I've ever seen.
It's wild. So I saw that clip online. Like they posted it as a story or whatever. But then they posted like a 6-minute version, which is closer to the version we're reacting to. But even they missed stuff. Like there's extra stuff that I went and grabbed because it was just nonstop slamming the brakes, slamming the brakes, slamming the brakes. Who is this? What is that? Just completely in your own world, not giving a fuck what the other people are doing on the show.
Because when you set this up, in my head, I go, okay, Ron the Waiter. That's the bar I'm setting. Because Ron the Waiter is terrible, but he doesn't stop the show.
Ron will have a horrible conversation with you, though. He'll go, oh, you're talking basketball. I got a set of balls for you. And it's horrible joke, but like it's part of it's on track with what they're talking about technically.
You've hit it. This is the biggest no-and guy I've ever met.
Yes,
on any show.
No,
he's a no-ander.
No, he's a no. Go back.
Yes, no. Rewind and explain yourself again.
Yeah,
sister got killed.
Yes, that is the discussion we're currently having.
Okay, and he's saying his dead sister helped him write his book.
Yes.
Okay, good.
They're minutes into this conversation. They've all given an opinion on it. Even Akeem has given an opinion on it, by the way. Mm-hmm. He's reacted and going, oh my God, that's horrible. And then he backtracks and goes, so who's Kelsey Grammer? Does he have a sister?
And why should we care?
Oh, wait, what is Kelsey Grammer from?
That was fun. At the end.
Final one here, hasn't learned.
So this is, again, I went back and watched the whole episode because of this. This is minutes later where they do the Kelsey Grammer thing, and that's the kind of clip that went viral and a lot more people saw it. What they may not know, if you just watch that clip, it continues for the rest of the episode. Even after Zach screams at him, this man doesn't change his ways. Listen to this now.
Shannon, when did they repost that SDR clip where we're interviewing Gene Simmons?
Maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Dude, I'm still every single day in my comments.
Who's Gene Simmons?
Son of a bitch!
Oh my God!
Son of a bitch!
I knew it was coming. It still got me.
Listen, I get Kiss is probably a white band. I get it, but just to exist in society, and you've never come across that name, and it's about more than it doesn't matter who Gene Simmons is. Zach is telling a story. Maybe through context clues, you'll figure out who he is via the story that he's telling. Trust that Zach will get you there.
Mike, who's this Zach again? Can you tell me about him?
Damn it.
And we were doing Michael
Those are
Jackson.
the guys with the long hair, right? With the black hair?
Makeup.
Makeup? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Zach is centered again. He's just like, yeah, I can't do it again, man. Yeah, yep. No kiss.
That.
And he does it. I couldn't keep clipping them because I thought it would just get exhausting. He does it after that, too. There's another name that comes up, and he goes, who's that? And it's like, is this a bit, man? Like, are you trying to piss? Do you hate Zach, or what's going on here?
You try to kill a 300-pound man with stress? Stop it.
Right, Zach's heart can't take this.
2 more episodes like that, he's done.
Yeah. So, but I thought Zach handled it very well, and it was very funny. But if you go watch the whole episode, it's even more exhausting because the show could never get into a flow because this asshole stops it every 5 minutes.
Oh my God, that must have drove you crazy.
It's wild.
You punching the couch at some point. I could just see that. Electra, we have a few super chats here. If you're able to do them, here we go. First one.
I wonder if that guy knows anything about anything, though. Really.
Don't think so.
I'd love to know what he's an expert on.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
What could he talk about without just stopping every few minutes?
Oh man! All right, James R. $4.99. Happy Sunday, y'all. Just here. Oh no, we already read that one, didn't we?
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Well,
but thanks
happy
again,
Sunday
James
to
R.
yourself. Thanks, buddy.
Bobby Costa, $4.99.
Hey.
Can't wait for Craig return. Tell him to ditch the glasses, though.
I'll try, but it's kind of his thing now, you know?
He really has leached onto that glasses thing. It's on
I
his
like
profile
him.
picture now.
Don't, Electra, don't do that.
Don't encourage him.
I do.
Who's Craig, by the way? Mike, can you tell me who Craig is?
Craig is a guy. So 5 years ago, I started doing this show. Craig reached out to me to produce the podcast, and he's been here ever since. We should have to set up. I'll just do it with super chats. We'll reset the show. Every super chat we get, I'll explain every detail of what they're talking about. So Bobby Costa is a guy. He's been on Kirk's show. He sent in a few good parody songs. He filmed the basketball games. KMS basketball is a thing that started because Coleman wasn't really good at basketball, but thought that he was. So Kirk started a basketball league and it ended up getting very popular. Coleman is a guy. Kirk did a producer's search a few years ago because Cullinane got fired. And he looked for new producers. Coleman was one of the guys that won. Cullinane, I just mentioned Cullinane got fired. Dave Cullinane produced for Kirk. I guess I got to explain who Kirk is. So he did a show at WEI many years ago. WEI is a Boston radio station. Boston is in Massachusetts. Massachusetts was one of the first states in the Union, and they said the Pilgrims sailed over here. Pilgrims are from Europe. Europe is a continent.
Mike, okay, so does Craig have any sisters? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, that was fun, Mike. All right, have a few more here.
Section 8 smoke detector, $2. Chizzer.
Same to you, buddy. That's one I don't have to explain. That's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
That's just a perfectly normal comment.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Flatbush Tommy, $5. Akeem reminds me of when you are talking to a little kid in your family and they ask you a question about every single thing that you say.
Yeah, it's okay. The stars, they're in outer space. It's a vet. We don't really know where it is. It's that Louis bit where it's the kid constantly says, "Well, why?" It's just asking why every second, and Louis gets further and further into explaining it.
One of the best roles Macaulay Culkin ever played was in Uncle Buck, where Uncle Buck came to babysit them, and he's like, "So what's your name? What do you do? Where do you live? Do you have a girlfriend?" And he's like a little kid, and Uncle Buck's like, "Why are you asking so many? How many questions do you usually ask?" He's like, "Usually like 42," and so it's the same sort of concept.
I like that you said one of the best roles Macaulay Culkin ever played. Like we're going
really
through IMDb. Like, what's after Home Alone? What do you think?
No. Home Alone 2 over Home Alone in my book. If we're
Okay.
gonna, but yeah, if you're gonna really talk about it, let's talk about it. All right. Thank you guys for the super chats. Mike, are you ready for some Tom Myers?
I'm always ready for Tom Myers. So Tom Myers is a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of everyone on the show. Casey Day was just telling me before the show, he's like, I feel really bad how rude I was to Tom Myers when I tried to book him on the show. And I said, don't beat yourself up about it. Tom's a good guy. I know he's over it. I know I'm over it. So don't worry about that, really, frankly, disgusting mistake you made when you were so rude to Tom Myers. So water under a bridge. Tom Myers is a friend of the show now, and he was on with this troublemaker, Adam Busch. So he was on Hughesy's show. Hughes is a guy from Ireland. Ireland is a country in Europe. They don't care for England that much. England is another country over there. It's actually where this country started. We were property of England at one time. You guys get it. So Hughesy Entertainment was doing a show on YouTube, as he's ought to do, and he had Adam Busch and Tom Myers on. And this Adam Busch, he's a busybody. He's always getting into other people's business and causing a stir. He's trying to cause trouble over there, as he so often does. And he tries to do it with Tom Myers, but he tangoed with the wrong dance partner this time, my friend. Tom Myers gives him a little taste of his own medicine by the end of this episode.
This one's called Attaboy Tom for the first one.
I like this. Tom defending his guy. This is what brothers do. Me and Tom can razz each other here, but when you're in the world, when a guy like Adam Busch starts taking shots at me, you defend your brother, and that's what Tom's doing.
But a nice compliment here from Mike. Tom and Adam are two of the good minds of our time.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
Why?
Broken.
Thank you.
Why, Adam? I'm just complimenting two of the smarter people I know. Tom and I don't get why he's in such hysterics over this. I'm just complimenting two guys I thought were my friends. It looks like I find out who my real friend is by the end of this clip.
Good minds of this episode, anyway, at least.
I mean, Blind Mike doesn't mince words. He's honest. He's honest as fuck, man. I like it.
Damn right, brother. What are you laughing at?
He didn't hit his chest twice and point to the sky. He should have. That would have made that clip perfect.
That's my guy. And Tom, I love you, buddy. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate having my back out there when guys like Adam Busch try to scoff at me. I don't care for that tone that Adam was using. But Tom's there to pitbull for me. I appreciate it.
And here's one of Adam's cheap shots. Is the next one?
Yeah, he's a cheap shot artist. This guy. Who is to mock my super chat? I give my hard-earned dollars to Hughesy and try to compliment these boys. Who is Adam to mock and laugh at that? I don't like that.
How do you handle, Tom, when people come after you? Because they do. They come after you for a lot of the same things you're talking about, or in a lot of the same style that you went after Steel Toe. How do you handle it when it comes at you?
I mean, I was trained by the Maryland public school system.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just...
Where's Maryland?
Water off a duck's back for me, and sometimes... And
Would
other
you say that's what you give off, that it's water off a duck's back?
Listen
but most of the time...
asshole trying to have a gotcha moment with Tom. This prick, Adam Busch. Who does he think he is to laugh at my guy? It's water off a duck. Find an example of Tom ever acting poorly. So many people have come after him. It started with Come Town, which was a massive podcast. Like Nick Mullen coming after Tom. He's never batted an eye. He's handled it in such brilliant stride. So Tom's always taken this stuff with a kind of a wink and a nod. Like he's always taken it in good spirits. I interviewed him and he proved that. So what is this tone that Adam has? This smug tone that this guy Adam Busch has? I don't care for it.
I'll go ahead and do that. Like I'll go ahead and strike back. If I feel that if it's worth my time. And
does it hurt you personally? Serious question. Like, does it actually hurt you, or is it a case by case basis, or what?
No,
it doesn't hurt you.
No, it doesn't. Like I said, the toughest room I ever worked was the men's locker room at Falston High School in Falston, Maryland.
Not a good start to that sentence, Tom. Pause, as the kids say.
Yeah, that's a pause. No diddy. No diddy.
I basically just I picked up my chops, just deflecting bullies and jocks and upperclassmen to the point where I was like the only freshman they would allow to hang out with them and goof off and fuck around during gym class. So
so you were included. You weren't bullied. You were like one of the guys.
Here's this, as I said, cheap shot artist, Adam, trying to trip him up with his own words here. What aren't you getting, Adam? Tom was bullied as a boy, but handled it so masterfully. He turned this high school on its ear, and he became I don't know if he won prom king or anything, but he certainly was. He was the guy that men wanted to be and women wanted to be with in this Maryland high school. And I don't care for Adam sort of saying that there's some inconsistency in Tom's story here. He turned people around as he did to us, by the way. Let's not forget that. We took our shots at Tom Myers, and I was wrong for that. Particularly Casey was most wrong of all for how he handled the stuff with Tom Myers. We learned our lesson, and Tom charmed us, and now there's a beautiful friendship that's come out of it. What's so hard to understand about that, Adam?
My tongue hurts. It's bitten so hard.
Well,
pretty much. Yeah, like I would socialize with the jocks during gym class. At lunch, I would.
He was an everyman.
Jock straps.
I've said this often. That Tom's comedy appeals to a sort of a wide audience. Like he doesn't turn any one particular group off because he offends everybody. So he is in that way sort of an everyman. So I can understand that why all these different walks of life, the nerds, the jocks, the goths, they all kind of came together through Tom.
Tom Myers goth group was my funnest. Tom Myers goth.
Well, you see, now you're being nasty. Now you're making little underhanded jokes here. What I'm saying is not that Tom catered to any of these groups. He suffered no fools. Tom took no prisoners and was able to rib all of these people in a way that they all appreciated. Go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and laugh.
How do you live with
son
yourself?
of a bitch?
D&D kids. Like I never assigned myself with any one particular
That's right.
clique. And then when
So
when I wasn't hanging out with anybody, I would just do my own thing anyway.
Well, you learned how to take. You learned how to be take insults and not be offended because we're
Hey, Adam. Also, by the way, it's Hughesy's show. Let him talk. Let him.
Yeah. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. Who the hell does this Adam Busch guy think he is to take over? Let Hughesy get a few questions. Let him regulate here.
He's on a all different continent. You're just cutting him off.
I think Hughesy was going to have something really insightful to add to this conversation, and I'd like to hear what it was.
bullied so much, but at the same time, you were also accepted by all of the groups and all of the cliques, and were like the one person who could socially just do whatever they wanted.
Listen to this.
Yeah, man, I could be a social chameleon when I want to be.
Listen to this son of a bitch. Thank you, Tom. That's the phrase I was looking for and I couldn't get to. He's a social chameleon. He can adapt to his surroundings. Stop laughing at that. What's so funny?
That might need to go in the outro.
Tom adapts to his surroundings, and Adam's acting like he's got this gotcha moment. And Tom's such a nice guy. I don't even know if he notices what's happening. That Adam thinks he's got this gotcha moment here, and Tom just explains it as regularly as Tom so often does. He's like, "No, you can try and trip me up, but these are the facts of what happened in my life."
It needs to go in the outro. That's all.
Go ahead.
Just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, man, I could be a social chameleon when I want to be.
Yeah.
But also while being bullied so much that you can take any kind of
You know how the chameleon gets his tail taken and then runs away and hides?
Oh, you're just like Adam. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is an ugly side of you, Casey. You're just like this snake Adam who's trying to trip a man up here, who's explained himself perfectly, by the way. I've never heard anyone explain themselves better than what Tom's doing. Who cannot relate to this? You have all different friend groups sort of come together, and Adam's trying to act like he tripped him up here, like he's got him.
Social chameleon when I want to be.
But also while being bullied so much that you can take any kind of insults that come your way because you've been trained on the streets of Baltimore in that specific bathroom.
Balmer, hon. Lose the T.
Which one is it?
See? Isn't he charming? Adam, lighten up. Have a laugh. There's comedy gold unfolding in front of you. Don't be so serious, all right, Adam? Come on. Let your hair down.
And everyone noticed the wink after the line.
Did he wink?
He winked.
See, you know what? I was kind of picturing it that way, so I like it. Thank you. Hey, of course. Right back at you, buddy.
Balmer, hon. Lose the T.
Which one is it? Were you bullied or were you a hero as a kid? Which one was it?
It started off being one, and then eventually I worked my way up to the ladder.
Okay.
It was a
hero
lot of work.
status. He went from. What are you getting about that? What is it? Are you a little slow, Adam? Is it take? Do I need to put training wheels on here, like you're Akeem Woods? Keep up. Tom was bullied, and he rose through the social ranks of high school all the way up.
Yeah. Adam, you were in acting class. Tom was out there riding the social rails.
And And this is exactly what Tom did in comedy, by the way. I know Adam finds it hard to believe, but Tom was at the no offense, Tom, but at the bottom of the comedy business. And through groups that he might not always get along with, like Come Town or those nasty boys at WATP, or you know what? I'll be honest and even throw myself in the mix. But all these shows that talk about Tom Myers, through these channels, Tom was able to rise to where he is today. So I don't get what's so difficult to understand about it.
It was a lot of work.
No, that would be, then you can empathize with both sides.
Right there. Tom, as he always so beautifully does, turned Adam around. Adam eventually understood his point by the end.
I mean, this Tom Myers guy sounds like a real centrist. Some guy that gets both political sides on his side.
He is.
Doesn't pick a side. Just right down the
middle. That's right. Well, now listen again. You're being so nasty today. This is I don't care for this side of you. He takes shot, but you know, I'm a big liberal now, as you guys know. So he takes down that rotten Donald Trump, and that kind of has to be. Tom Myers is doing what Tony Hinchcliffe pretends he's doing. You know, Tom actually is changing minds.
This next one's called Boom.
Okay. Oh, this is a Tom Myers roast, I believe.
Bring it.
I'm reminded now, I know for a fact that I made fun of that you can't get your green screen right, because I was looking at the green on your head right now, and I was reminded that, you got to dial that in.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've tried like multiple times. Like I've tried fixing settings, and you know, but I figure better a green hue than a wood paneling. So I'm like,
get him, Tommy! Got him! There he is. That acid-tongued Adam Busch trying to slam Tom down, and with Tom's rapier wit, bites back at him. This son of a bitch. You're not going to get Tom like that, my friend. You're not going to box him into a corner. His green screen's not working. So what? Who cares? I can't even see it. It matters not to me. It's just his commentary and biting wit that I come here for. And he slammed back at Adam's face. Don't show this part, by the way. I don't want Tom to come at me next.
Did you say he had a rapist wit? Is that
rapier?
Rapist?
Rapier wit.
I was gonna say, I had not known rapists for their wit, but maybe.
Well, that's what he's doing to Adam Busch here. He's holding him down. He's holding him down and giving it to him.
Is that an old timey word? Did we just get old timed?
What are you, Akeem Woods? Let's move on. Get up on your own time.
Electra, look up rapier. This next one's called Irish inflection.
Oh, so Tom answers a question that has long been on people's minds, all the way back to, I've heard the WATP guys pointed out, but this goes all the way back to Come Town, where Nick Mullen brought up this inflection. And now Nick Mullen, I asked Tom about this, I believe, because Nick accused him of joke stealing, kind of stealing from, is it Billy Connolly? I forget, there's an Irish comedian that Nick compared him to. And Nick Mullen, you know how he is. I don't know how insightful, how credible that guy is. But he accused Tom of that, and it's been people have noticed it over the years. He kind of goes up when he talks, that sort of thing. And he does it here, and he's asked about it, and he gives an explanation that I think makes perfect sense.
Everything's a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
See, I was a extra on House of Cards because they filmed part of it, like literally like 10 minutes in my house. I played a congressman in one episode, and people were
congressman.
And people were. But after all this stuff about Kevin Spacey came out, people said, "Tom, did you notice Kevin Spacey doing anything weird on set? Did you notice any of that?" And I said, "I'll be honest, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I was too busy getting a hand job from the guy who played Doug Stamper."
Oh, Tom.
Doug Stamper?
You're incorrigible.
Is he Scottish?
Doug Stamper?
What's up with that, by the way? Justice for Kevin Spacey by Little Emmy. Notorious. I've noticed that, Tom, when you tell a joke, your voice goes up at the end. Like
Right.
Sometimes it feels like you're being racist towards me. Where you
No,
go,
I'll tell you
Doug
what.
Stamper?
People have mentioned that I do have sort of like an Irish inflection, and I
This is what I like about Tom, and I don't. Maybe he's always done this. Maybe I kind of talked him into it a little bit, but I like that he kind of accepts criticism and he goes with it. He goes, "Yeah, people say that, but hey, here's a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why I do it."
this. I don't think I've mentioned this on any live stream, so I'll go ahead and give you the exclusive. My great grandparents emigrated here from Ireland, and reportedly they had like a very thick Irish accent. And so my this is on my father's side of the family. My father was raised by my grandfather because like his mom died during childbirth.
My father was raised by my grandfather. That checks out, actually.
Yeah, that's
All right.
normal.
I'll allow that. My father was raised. Okay. No, that for a second I thought maybe that didn't make any sense, but no, it turns out it does. All right, I'm with that.
Also, the Irish thing makes a lot of sense too, because his head is sort of shaped like a potato head.
So probably like my great great grandparents gave it to my great grandfather, that inflection, who probably gave it to my dad, and so I probably got it from him.
Irish.
Yep.
If that's if it's there, that's the likely.
Yep. So I think that all checks out. His great grandparents are Irish, and so it's a recessive gene that's been passed down through the generations.
If it's there, Mike. If you hear it, I don't even hear it.
If it's there, yeah. I mean,
it's there.
It is weird though. I get maybe this is because I'm like half Irish, half Italian. Because my great grandparents are from Ireland, but only on one. It is on my father's side also.
Oh.
But that's only
You have
one.
potato.
It might be like so. The disease that I have with my eyes, both parents need to have the gene somewhere in their lineage in order for me to get it. Yeah, so it has to be both parents. Maybe that's kind of what Tom has, where maybe both his great grandparents are from Ireland, and that's why he does Doug Stamper, that thing.
We're up to Tom Claps Back, and we are getting a very
About time.
Yes, getting a very generous donation in the super chat. Thank you so much. We'll get to you, but yes, we got to finish this first. Tom Claps Back.
Okay, good.
But you're right. He's funny, but it's not in the way that he knows. He doesn't know when he's being funny, and that can make you feel a bit exposed or vulnerable.
Adam, I have to correct. I have to seriously clap back on this.
Good,
please.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do know when I'm being funny.
I agree with Tom on this.
Contrary to popular belief and what you hear in the chat and on Reddit, I've been doing this for a long time.
Since he's 18.
I've been doing a lot of.
Yeah, I've been stuffed in a lot of lockers. I know when I'm getting mocked mercilessly.
What? Again? Oh, you're being a little bitch today, aren't you? I don't think that's what he's saying. What he's saying is, I know when I'm crushing. Like Tom knows why bong hit transplant is funny. Like these things have taken hold in a certain segment of society. And they're legendary in a lot of ways, and I think Tom gets why that is, and that's what he's explaining here.
You got
stand up recently? No, because I've had some personal stuff on the home front. I've been taking.
And Tom,
care
if you're
of,
watching, I apologize for Casey being so catty today. I don't care for it.
Well, I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't.
It's
know
an
you had
ugly
things-
color on you, friend.
I didn't know you had things going on the home front. I apologize.
Yeah.
Last year or so, I won't
Don't
get
laugh,
into that.
Echo.
That's kind of winding down. So I'm looking to get back out and get started.
Boy,
again.
I hope Adam feels. This guy's a robot, but I hope he feels some sort of emotion after that. You coming in questioning a guy who has personal stuff going on. Adam trying to do his act where he's going to nail Tom down and question him on things. Meanwhile, this man is holding a family together, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I feel like a real shithead, Mike.
Yeah.
I got to apologize to
should.
the whole Blind Mike project. And
You
our
all
new
should.
friend,
You and Adam
Tom
should
Myers.
go on an apology tour. You should go on every podcast and apologize.
I'll just stick with you. I'm done with the apology.
I'm following a formula that has worked before,
Mhm.
where I had previous detractors on another podcast, and instead of
Don't even
buckling
say
to
that, Tom. You're above them. Don't even say their name. I'll say it. He's talking about Come Town, but Tom shouldn't even do them the privilege, because then what it does is then Hughesy's audience learns about Nick Mullen and his awful ways. So I like that he doesn't say their names, but I just wanted to fill everyone in the spirit of today's show is being informative. So I just wanted people to know what he's talking about there.
And in support of my new best friend, I'd just like to say that Tom Myers outlasted Come Town. So he's
That's
still here.
true. Hey, yeah, who's
They're
still
not.
standing? You're
That's
exact.
right.
That's a great point, Casey. Where's Stavros now?
He had 500,000 views on his last show, but don't look at that.
instead of kneeling to them, I went ahead and went after them. I sort of
Destroyed
leaned
them.
into some of their fan base And as a result, some of the fan base who used to shit on me ended up becoming legit fans.
Yep,
They-
that's
they-
us.
they-
That's
they-
the
they've ended up-
Harvard
they've-
Grace 6. But Adam doesn't know about these great citizens, does he? You don't hear Adam bringing up Chef Lewis or Justin Trudell or Joe from Virginia. Mark. The other one.
The other one. That
Me,
guy's
Justin, Chef Lewis, Joe,
The other
Mark.
one.
There was
The
another
other
guy. Drew Peebles, of course. Drew, I'm
Oh,
so
Drew
sorry.
Pe-
Oh, Drew should have been in the thank you video. That's another name to add to the list.
Hold on.
Drew Peebles.
Dang Lizard, we got to fix Austin Ingalls, and we'll add Drew Peebles in there.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Here we go.
They've ended up like streaming my content.
So why wouldn't you do that, Carl? That's great.
They've ended up coming to see me. I mean, I'm doing that now. I'm
Great.
doing that now. And I didn't have to go on this other podcast show. I didn't have to go on I didn't have to go on this show.
What's the negative about going on? What's
I didn't
the
have
downside?
I didn't have to embrace. Well, the downside is what I did worked before. So it's good. It's
That
going
is
to
the
work again.
downside. The downside is what I did work before, so it's going to happen again. I agree with you, Tom. And that's the thing is people like Lady A, they're scared of Tom. And so they're not going to have him on, you know? So why would Tom ruin someone else's day? At the end of the day, he's a nice guy.
A solid man who's going through some things. Would you have him back here anytime soon, Blind Mike?
I would have Tom back on at some point, yeah.
I think we need what about a Tom Myers, Richard Ojeda, like sort of I guess there is no election. So we should talk to him about his upcoming thing.
His campaign? Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. Yeah, Tom and Richard could be fun. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely have Tom back on at some point. So he actually reached out to me a couple months ago and I just never got to it. It was my fault, so I apologize, Tom. But yeah, we'll do that at some point.
All right, Blind Mike, buckle up here. We have some super chats.
All right.
Electra?
People being very generous in chat.
Well, thank you, folks.
11 idle hands, $5. I like Adam Busch, but going after the GOAT, Tom Myers, is one bump over the legal limit.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I like Adam Busch as well. But we had to call this out at least. This is where Adam crossed the line. I thought, often he's very good. He gives insightful commentary, but this was just ugly. And frankly, I think it was beneath Adam what he did on Hughesy's show. So that's my job. I'm going to call it out when I see it.
Honestly, it was like two guys arguing at each other through a locker that Husey stuck them both in. That's what it kind of looked like. All right, Blind Mike. Here we go, Electra.
$100 from Graham Wellington. Woo!
Thank you, buddy. That's very kind.
Thank you so much, Graham Wellington.
Too kind.
Amazingly generous. Oh, hold your hat. Hold your horses.
And Tom Myers says, Adam was cool. Watch this space for round 2.
Oh, that's right. Tom mentioned to me. Sorry, Tom. I should have plugged that at the beginning. Tom mentioned to me there will be round 2. Adam and Tom Myers are doing a show together. So check that out whenever it happens. Hopefully, Adam will display a little more decorum next time.
I hope so. Blind Mike 3 weeks ago, it was Anthony Cumia. 2 weeks ago, it was Luis J. Gomez. This week, it's Tom Myers. The celebrities are out in your chat.
It really is. Where does it end?
Myers. And oh my God, Graham Wellington.
Yes, thank you, Graham Wellington.
Graham Wellington, another $100.
What the hell is going
Another
on?
$100.
Yes. He says, Carl can eat shit. Happy Blind Mike Sunday.
Wow. I wouldn't go so far as to say that seems extreme.
No, that's fine. $200. Carl, eat shit.
Sure, thank you.
It's worth an email like, Carl, I didn't mean it.
I will say, can I ask something? Did I pour it on thick enough that I won't have to respond to Adam in a year about how...
No,
did that come through? I won't have to...
No, I've gotten 3 emails. He wants to come on the show and talk to
Okay,
you.
all right. I'm just planning for a year from now when I have to be like, oh, sorry, Adam, I was joking around.
He's doing an interesting sort of Ocean's 11 con on the verses here. I like to see where it goes here.
He is.
All right, but thank you.
You sent that one to me, but every time I turn around, Adam's on some other stream. It's funny.
He's walking into lions' dens everywhere. I like it. And thank you again, Graham Wellington.
Yes,
that
thank
is awfully generous of you. Someone's doing well. All right.
And the Cope sent $4.99 with a super sticker of a sheepy dog, laughing slightly while and covering his mouth with one arm.
That's a lot of detail. Thank you.
He's blushing, Mike. All right, gotta a few
So
more.
weird. Strangeland77, loving the show once again. Great job.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey. And Uno Mas before we get to Nopi.
And another one from the Cope. This is a greatest hits episode.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he thinks it's that good.
Yeah, you think?
Well, thanks. Thank you, buddy.
And again,
all
just
right.
thank you, Graham Wellington, for being so generous.
Well, thank you to everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Of all donations count, so thank you to all of you.
Those
You're
count a little more.
helping us hit our goal.
Yes. All right. Would you like? So there's 2 tours he does here. We have one that's called Epic, and then we have.
We'll
the
start with
live
that.
stream.
Well, Epic is the tease. So I saw this clip. We're talking about the Opester now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on Opie's YouTube channel, and I saw this clip, and this clip inspired me to go to the full episode because it was titled "Look at this epic." Do you have the title there or no? I don't want to get it wrong.
I don't, but I want to hear you try. Let's just give it.
It was something to the effect of "Epic New York City interaction."
Awesome.
Gang, I'm gonna hold on to both my hat and I'm gonna tighten these headphones a little bit because I don't want the top of my skull to fly right off in this video. So go ahead. I think I'm ready. Prepare to have your minds blown. This is an epic New York City interaction.
We're looking at some murals here of LeBron James at the beginning.
We got LeBron James. Got Simone Biles. Got Malcolm X. We got. Oh, you're alive. I thought you were part of the mural. Sorry. We got Serena Williams. I mean, I think we've got to redo the Muhammad Ali, don't you think?
Epic!
I knew who it was.
Your
was so
brains are about to melt.
That was not epic.
You heard the joke he made to the guy, though. He thought he was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He did not look happy about that, by the way. Just,
No, Opie just made I gotta say, because Opie goes on these rants calling Anthony a racist all the time. Say what you want about Anthony Cumia. At least Anthony Cumia is trying to make some kind of argument on, like, he's making some social argument on Twitter and on show and all that. Opie will just ham-handedly be like, "You're black, they're black."
Yes.
You're
That's
Asian,
exactly-
you say cheese funny. It's like, Opie actually is just kind of a racist.
Yeah. Accidental racist, kind of, you know? All right, now we're in Harlem. We're going to Harlem. And I'm sure it gets not racist after this.
So I saw that clip, and I said, "My God, Opie has taken the streets of Harlem. It can't end there. It can't just be that one moment. If this guy's roaming the streets, it must have gotten crazy." So let's see what this shock jock is up to when he takes Harlem by storm.
All right. Oh, I know where I could bring you. Yeah. We're on the outskirts of Harlem. Whoa. Oh, damn. Oh,
About to get nuts, I'm
we're,
sure.
We're walking by the projects. Welcome to the Grant Houses, New York City Housing Authority of New York City. Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. My God. All right. Yeah, I think I could show you something cool today.
Just pointing out the projects.
Well,
When does
well,
that
get to it. How about you? Yeah, how about you start, Electra? That's exactly what he's doing. He says, "Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore." Which, by the way, I always like to point this out about Opie. He is a guy who's part of a show, a historical show, that would eviscerate people for being lazy hacks. People that would just say mundane, cliche horse shit that doesn't really hold any value. And when left to his own devices, he says, "Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore." Now, to Akeem Woods and anyone else that doesn't understand that reference, that's from the film Wizard of Oz. It's a very, very old movie. If Akeem Woods thought Forgetting Sarah Marshall was an old movie, then Wizard of Oz is ancient. And Opie is making that reference. And to your question, Electra, Opie thinks he's going to get an entire episode. And this is, again, like I said, Call Anthony a racist if you want. Opie is literally in Harlem and being like, isn't it crazy that I'm white and I'm not dead in this neighborhood? Isn't that fucking nut? Doesn't that blow your mind? Like, he's just walking around Harlem in the daytime, mind you. This is just the broad daylight. And he thinks like some insanity is about to unfold.
Oh my god.
Mike, technically that's the only time you really can walk around Harlem. But okay, moving on.
I grant you that. But I'm saying maybe if you want some of this craziness, go back at
Opie
night.
at night. Yes,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. Why this is the next. I think I know why.
That's the title of the episode, probably. But
yes.
Yeah. Why is this the thing that Opie like zeroes in on?
Who knows about time zones? Oh my God. Okay.
More like the Grand Wizard of Oz. I just thought of that. I had to get it in.
Okay. I'm in New York City. Yes, that's true. And I'm in Harlem. So you're gonna see a lot of flavor. Unlike the normal live stream I do, where everything is a bit on the boring side, because the people are boring where I live.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, could you show us other parts of the city? So I'm going to show you other parts of the city. Yes, I am.
People are so boring where I live. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you guys blacks. I found where the blacks live, and I'm going to show them to you.
This might be 100 times more racist than anything Anthony has ever done.
It's way more. It's not even close.
He almost
Just
called
to go, again, whatever you think about Anthony, like Anthony's trying to make societal and political arguments. Opie's just going like Opie's. It's the what is that called? The lowered expectations. The you know what I'm talking about? The bigotry of lowered expectations.
Bigotry
Soft
of low
bigotry.
expectations. Yeah.
That's what Opie's doing, where he's like, look at him. He's treating Harlem like it's a zoo. He's like, look at him. Look at them. They're just grazing. They're just look at them walk around. It's so interesting.
They even eat like us, doggy. This next one's called Flavor.
Yeah, look at them. They wear clothes. They walk and they talk.
Look how low their pants are, doggy.
And by the way,
they even have belts.
Opie is the one worth filming. Like, if you're anyone else, you're like, look at this guy just walking around thinking he's like in Narnia or something. He thinks he's in like this magical world. He's just in a part of New York City.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And by the way, he's neat. Like, I'm sure there's like there are plenty of bad parts of Harlem, but he's like right near the Apollo Theater. So I imagine it's a little more inhabitable there. You know, he's kind of in an area where it's like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, keep your voice down, Opie. Hey, Mike, just this is why you always take a swing. Graham Wellington with another $100. Grand Wizard of Oz. Oh, Casey. So hey, you always take a swing. You never know when Graham's.
Sometimes it's $100 joke. Thank you, Graham.
It is. That joke is technically worth $100. Proof right there.
This
Thank
is
you so much.
and in the code of the Dabbleverse, I'll have to be Graham Wellington a few. Where's Graham Wellington? Where is he today? I saw him in Carl's chat. Where is he?
Where are you at?
Yeah, but thank you, Graham. We appreciate it.
Yeah, God damn, Graham.
And that looks good.
All right, Flavor.
Good. Yeah, man. We got the two soup, bro.
Selling watermelon.
Very refreshing. I'm live streaming to the world, by the way.
People like these, don't you? Just
God damn.
Hitting every fucking look at him. It's like the Chappelle bit. Look at him. He loves it.
This is so on the note. I've never seen anything this on the note.
But literally, this is what he's doing. For any of you that think this is like an exaggeration, or just, he's going around Harlem and he's like, let's find blacks to just look at. And he struck gold because he found one selling watermelon.
Oh my God.
Hey, what's going on, man? Coming at you live from Grand Projects. It's your boy Tony. We got the real black seed watermelon out here. Listen, we promoting health as well.
Right.
Okay, how much money you got, man? You ain't got your health. You don't have nothing.
So Opie's got a guy. He's got a guy with some, I don't know, some personality, some charisma.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's got a guy who's clearly willing to talk. I imagine that's the goal of this live stream, is find unique characters. You know, he has a guy who's just out there, just blurting out random horse shit. I imagine a guy who's been in broadcasting since he's 18 could do something with this, right? Let's see what the master does when he's got a character on his hands like this fella.
Man, we doing it because we love the people. What's
I hear
going
you.
on?
I just can't walk around with a half a watermelon right now.
I got a bag for you.
No, I got to do my live stream.
Reasonable offer.
Thank you, brother.
Yo, thank you, brother.
All right, we'll talk to you.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Where are you going, Opie? You're showing us the characters of Harlem. Opie's like, all right, sir, no watermelon for me, thank you. And he's on his merry way.
I've proven the joke. Blacks, watermelons. All right, on to the next joke.
Sir, I'd love to stop and chat with you, but I have more sidewalk to show people.
I gotta go find a minstrel show.
Yeah. Well, he's literally, I think Opie might, because he's looking for the Apollo Theater. I think he might think that's what happens there. He's like, we'll go catch Al Jolson.
Can I see the clown with the hook? Is he around? Can he dance for me?
Flavor is.
Yeah, I see you too.
This is where the flavor is. Just got to be careful. You know what? I'm going to cross the goddamn street.
Gotta be careful.
I'm going to cross the
These people are animals. Again, to compare it to Anthony was in Times Square when he was filming black people. You know? Like, Opie sought them out at home base.
From a distance in hushed whispers. You know, I
gotta be careful. You know what these people are like. I gotta be careful.
Is that a watermelon doggy? And it's...
And by the way, I don't even think Opie's a racist either. I just think he's a moron.
Yeah. And you know, they're selling water. I mean, like that's like when an Asian lady sees another bad Asian lady driver. They're like, you're just ruining it for
That's the weird thing is Opie doesn't even add that. Like, he doesn't even make a stereotype joke or anything. He literally just shows you a guy and then keeps going. Like, there's nothing to it.
It's called Opie's Setups, where Opie just sets something up and walks away.
You guys do something with that at home. You can imagine, right?
Fill in the blank, doggy. Next one's called Cool People.
All right, we're gonna see some cool people now. Opie's home base, they're all so boring. I hate these boring people that don't make content for me. What that means is when Opie just pulls out his camera and points it at strangers at home, they don't do his job for him.
Yeah.
They're not like having insane tirades on the street. So he's hoping to go to a part of town where he can just point his camera at someone, they act crazy, and he can be like, look at life through Opie's eye. Isn't this nuts what I encounter?
My wife and children have no flavor.
You know what this is? So I mentioned this a few weeks ago that Opie has a quote that I think is actually a positive thing, and it's self-aware in a way. Years ago on the Opie and Anthony show, he would say, we have some of the best comedians in the world in here, and at the end of the day, people say, hey, the Opie and Anthony show was great today. So like just by letting giving these guys room to do their thing, we get credit for it. Like just by letting, Patrice and Colin and Louis and all these big voices in comedy, by letting them be funny and completely roam free, people say, hey, Opie and Anthony was good today. Like, so they get credit. The problem with this is Opie thinks he can do that anywhere in the world and still get credit for it. Like he just can point his camera at any human being or building or whatever, and people will be like, boy, Opie was great today because he was just showing us something.
Yeah. So we blame Anthony is what we're saying. Anthony, you did this.
Yes.
You made this.
I mean, no, we still blame Opie because if Opie said, I'm leaving Sirius XM so we can still do a show together, this man wouldn't be out on his own.
Fact. All right, let's see some cool people.
Thinking of going into the New Aroma Chinese restaurant. Check out the local food.
Wow.
What's up? Hey, John Quartz, what's going on, man? And Bubble goes, and your wallet is gone. I ain't even lying. The times I'm walking on up here, these people are cool as hell. My neighborhood, they just stink.
It's again that phrase, the soft bigotry of lowered expectations.
Yeah.
Can you? These people are so fucking cool. Not like those uptight whites in my neighborhood. But what are they doing that's so cool? There's a guy selling watermelon on the street. What's cool about it?
They're walking cool, man. It's just how they walk. It's basically
they're
what he's
talking cool. Again, he's at the zoo. He's treating this like he's at the zoo.
Whole bunch of Karens, whole bunch of people with their
Sticks up their butt is what he says, I
yeah.
believe.
I mean, he must live in like a multi-million-dollar apartment with neighbors that are multimillionaires that are like.
Opie, if they're so cool, they're moved to Harlem.
Yeah, that would be a show.
Yeah, that's something.
He's moving on down. All right, high tech is the next one.
Oh, so Opie's going to tell us a little bit about his setup. Like, if you guys thought, well, I don't really watch Opie's channel, well, you're about to, my friends, because things are going to change.
Oh, and by the way, I'll stop saying this, but now when I live stream, I bring a second camera, HD, and I replace the original live stream with the HD version, full screen. So definitely check back on my channel, like, I don't know, later tonight.
Can you explain this to me, Casey? How does he even work? Is he holding two cameras?
He has to be. They make holders for two cameras, but I'm just thinking of how excited I am to see those watermelons in 16:9 aspect ratio.
Oh,
my
that'd be
God. Sign me
awesome. Imagine if you could see all the cool people in high def. Which, by the way, high def, wasn't that like a new technology 20 years ago?
Yeah, 2012, I believe, high def, or 2009.
This is all going to be high def now, man. Wow, Opie, cool. Welcome to the time. So he's walking around with two cameras. I got to ask, Opie, why not, instead of replacing it, so he's taking down one version and replacing it with another, just film it, cut out all the horse shit, and upload the good parts. We don't even need the live stream.
Maybe it's why he can't do anything, though, with these people. His hands are full with cameras. Like,
Right.
He can't hold a watermelon. He can't.
Yeah, that's got to be it. That's why he can't carry the watermelon home.
Yeah.
Early tomorrow. So at this point, I don't care if the signal goes bad because I'm still recording.
Oh, good.
Okay, he's in a glass mirror. I'm trying to see. His hands both do look full, Mike.
Oh, shit. All right, everyone.
He's walking around New York double-fisted.
He must look nuts.
Isn't that Opie? Why has he got two cameras? What the fuck is this guy doing? He's always a weirdo, this guy. Go to a church.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
Opie always wants to get noticed for, for who he is, but I don't think people really recognize him.
Opie!
He should have brought the watermelon then. Maybe if I carry a watermelon and two cameras, people will be like, is that guy on the radio?
I don't know a lot about Opie, but I know, Opie, you probably shouldn't be filming in church, right? This is something that you probably shouldn't be doing.
Well, Casey, you're a square. You're a boy. You think you wonder about what bad is going to happen. I wonder what insanity is about to happen. Because I remember Sex for Sam. You know, those were the real crazy days when anything went on radio. Opie and Anthony got fired for Sex for Sam. So I'm thinking, what is this nut job going to do in a church now? Oh, I'm a little worried for what's going to happen next. Look out, church.
For the Pope. New York City has amazing churches. For the Pope.
Okay, so we're about to see. Opie has gone into the church, and what is he going to do? What mayhem does this wild man have in store for us? Last we saw Opie, or heard Opie, having anything to do with the church, it was having a couple fucking there, saying, holding their middle fingers up to God, saying, we don't care about your rules, man. We do what we want. We're shock jocks. So what's he going to do now, 23 years later?
Let's see if we go upstairs and play the organ.
Whoa.
Played the organ in high school.
He's like Dennis the Menace, this guy.
Up there.
He is. He's a menace to all New York right now.
Oh, no, it's
Double-fisted camera guy.
All right, let's keep going. Oh. That's a badass old church up here in Harlem. That was cool. The stained glass is nice. Hell yeah.
It was so cool.
So Opie's in the church for 5 seconds. He's like, let me try and play the organ. It's locked. All right, enough of that.
Hands are full, can't play the organ. God damn it. Yeah. He's basically delete laws at this point. Mike's just walking around filming.
At least delete laws has a purpose.
That's true, I guess.
Like, Like, Opie is just. We wouldn't have to see this, by the way. Opie has 2 cameras, as we heard about. They're both great. But if Opie wasn't live streaming this, we wouldn't have to see all this terrible horse shit. He could go to Harlem, waste his time, and be like, I guess that wasn't worth posting. But, he does get 400 views out of it, so maybe it's worth it.
Ooh, we'd take that. We'll take that every time. 400 views.
I mean, heck yeah. I should say hell yeah if you're just coming out of a church.
Jesus Christ.
He's an
What
edgelord, Mike.
what insightful commentary. I just said hell. Strike me down, God. I don't care. Rules be damned. There's another naughty word for you.
HE double hockey's. Oh no, going straight to hell.
So yeah, we're in.
It's just crosswalks.
So he just walks by. He's like, yeah. So we're in Harlem.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, just for future reference, I almost never want the clip to cut off mid-word. So maybe just let the rest of the word play.
Okay, yeah. So with this, you never know what I just went with the times because
I understand.
What is he talking about?
He's like, yeah, no. So we're in Harlem. This is Harlem for you. There's buildings. There's people. It's like, say what you want about fucking Topeka, Kansas, or pick your boring place. They also have buildings and human beings. That's all you've shown us so far. There's nothing zany or interesting about Harlem.
Nothing. Mike, if I walked around my neighborhood and filmed my neighborhood here in Venice Beach, your eyes would be.
That is a crazy neighborhood.
It's crazy. Like there,
Go out and film it. Stop telling me about it. Go out and film it with 2 cameras.
I'm not that zany.
Here's what Opie wants ultimately. Is he's like, I'm in Harlem. Maybe some of these people will get into a fight and I can film it. That's ultimately what he's hoping for.
He's like, I've seen Anthony's videos. I just stand around here long enough and fight.
Maybe there will be bum fights or something that I can film.
Almost something. He almost gets something here, Mike.
Okay, all right. We've all guys. Something may be about to happen. This is exciting.
Hey, bro.
Hey, no.
What's your no film?
Okay, hey,
No film.
whoa! You don't want to say that to a wild man like Opie. You don't want to give him this guy. He's an anarchist. He takes your rules, he crumples them up, he spits them out. Opie doesn't need your rules. Let's see what this madman has up his sleeve when someone says, "I don't want to be filmed, man. Take your camera and go screw, kid."
How fast does he run?
No film.
Yeah, no film.
Why? That's the coolest shit.
No film, I told you.
I'm not pointing it at you, bro.
Okay.
Relax. All right?
And
that's where
he's whispering.
Last time I was in Harlem. That's where they sold the Obama cologne. I was trying to see if they still had it. No film. I'm allowed to film, but I ain't taking that chance.
What chance? What would have happened?
I've seen Anthony's online. Social media.
Opie, take one chance in this video, for fuck's sake. Wow, I mean, I'm allowed to film, but I'm not going to take that. This is a shock jock. And someone's like, hey, don't film here. He's like, oh, all right, I'm leaving, sir. That's where I think they might have had something interesting, but I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want them to yell at me.
He literally walked and like saw 4 people that were going to pass him that were black, and he's like, I can't say Obama yet. I got to wait till they pass. Okay, Obama.
I'm with you guys. Don't worry about it.
If I say Obama too loud, they're all going to stop and have to explain what I'm doing here.
Meanwhile, this is a guy that in the other clip we saw, he's like, hey, are you one of them? They're black and so are you.
They got watermelons, everyone. Look at that. God damn, that might be the most racist thing I've ever seen on YouTube.
Look at him.
Now I'm not taking that chance.
All right, a genuine laugh. We finally get a genuine laugh.
It's interesting to see a shock jock in their 60s where they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not taking the chance of continuing to record when a guy says, please don't.
Genuine laugh. Here we go.
Okay, this is a lady that, this is Opie being charming.
Oh, no.
Genuinely. And then he kind of ruins it by the end.
But she's in a cowboy hat. She's in a cowboy gear, Mike. I'm going to give you just a little.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you. You got really good stuff, but I might be a little too white for it.
This is Opie kind of being like he's actually saying it to the people this time, which makes it a little more charming than I don't want them to. You know how they get. I don't want them to overreact because I'm worried that if I keep filming them, you know how they are, how they can be. So I don't want to upset them. But this is Opie actually saying it to, like, making the joke to a person, so it's more affable, it's more charming, and he's ingratiating himself with the community now. All right, good job, Opie.
It's also a lady. He feels less threatened.
Sure.
Thank you. Tell these assholes.
Oh,
like,
why do you have to ruin it?
Oops.
Go back a little bit. Opie had it was a fine line. He was being a little charming. It deserved the laugh that this lady gave it. And he goes, "See, I'm hilarious. What I just did is funnier than Monster Rain. Fuck Jim Norton." Like, why does it always come back to that, Opie? Why does it always come back to us and the people we find funnier than you? Just this lady's like, "Hey, you're funny." Take solace in that. Go back a little. I want to hear her. She gets a genuine belly laugh, and Opie just ruins it.
Yeah, you got really good stuff, but I might be a little too white for it.
You're funny.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell these assholes.
She's like, "What ass? What? Why? What do
That's
you mean?"
us. I just get it. That's us. He's talking to her about us.
This lady's like, "Tell what assholes?" He's funny, guys. I mean, I've only heard him do this one bit, but
we're the assholes. Yes, what are your experiences with this man like so far? Oh, he's funny. Oh, amazing.
That is fair. I guess if I'm being fair to Opie, when I go, "What assholes?" I guess he literally is talking about us. So that's fair. I'll give you that one.
All of us live rent free in that mansion in his mind. My God.
Yeah, it seems so.
I can't. Look, if I wore this, come on.
Now Opie's getting a little black. He's feeling himself. Shit, motherfucker.
He's like, I ain't got no flavor, dog.
Oh, y'all got some dope shit here. Opie's feeling a little bit now.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried all these glasses on last time.
Back in the day, yeah.
All right.
You look familiar.
All right. Okay.
You look familiar.
Oh, so we cut part of that off. Opie comes up and goes, "I remember you. You were here last time." And this lady's like, a lot of people come through the Apollo Theater, man. I don't know. Like, what can I tell you? That's the other big thing I think that we're about to hear is this whole journey was for Opie to explore the Apollo Theater. Now, I don't know if he thought if you go to the Apollo Theater in the middle of the day, they just let you fucking roam around. Yeah. Come on, no, take a seat. Wait for the show to start. Come on in.
Yeah, we'll turn the lights on. Do a set. We'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
But they were like, "Nah, we're doing some work. You can't come in right now." And the whole day has been ruined. The entire point of filming has been thwarted by work being done on the Apollo Theater.
Hey, right? Always a pleasure to see you. Goddamn regulars. Bruce. Oh, we got some bootlegs. Old school bootlegs. Oh damn, oh my God, there's like...
He was very close there to putting pornography on YouTube because he just filmed a bunch of DVDs and some of them were softcore porn, but you could tell, below that there was going to be some dicks on screen.
Oh, all right, then that's warranted. I was going to say, why is Opie going, "Oh, damn," because he tries to make everything so exciting. That was warranted, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's some dirty stuff down there.
Yeah, see? The dirty stuff.
All right, now we're in the heart of Harlem. See, I mean...
Opie's traveled, at most 2 blocks in this amount of time. Now, this is Harlem. It's like, well, you were 2 blocks that way.
He stays in the safe parts, if you know what I mean.
You come to New York and you hang out in Times Square. Come up here, man.
This is the place. These are my brothers and sisters. This is the place to be.
Maybe next time. It must be about the Apollo not being able to get in.
Nope. It's just maybe next time I turn my camera on, something will happen.
Oh, no.
Nothing happened this time. Maybe next time.
It's actually pretty mellow up here today. you like asshole.
Yeah, they're not looting and getting shot by police. You know how it usually is. But
I see no rap videos being filmed today. None.
It seems today it was just a regular street that wasn't going to get me millions of views, even though I just pointed my camera at it.
I looked everywhere for syrup. I didn't see any. No syrup. No Lil Jon.
We'd have a little action. Usually you got some really good street musicians up here. You got the paint bucket guys up here usually. But it's pretty chill today.
Hey, I gotta be honest. If I wanted that, Opie, I'd go to Harlem. If I wanted to hear the street musician, like, I would just go. No one's tuning into Opie to be like, I wonder what craziness is on the streets of New York today. Who would give a shit?
Yeah, I wonder if that Billy Idol cover song guy is down there today. Let me.
And
go
here's
check
the thing about Opie is like maybe if you did just put a camera on some New York street and filmed it, maybe I'm sure there would be times where that would be worth watching. Something crazy might happen. I mean, it's New York City, for God's sake. So maybe something could happen. The problem is Opie would add nothing to that experience. He would just watch it and go, "Oh damn, oh damn." In fact, he would probably run from it and go, "I don't want to be a part of that. Seems I don't want it. They asked me not to film, so I don't want to. I'm going to run the other way."
Have you heard of Casey Neistat? Have you ever heard that name?
Is that one of your alter egos or something?
No. It's a guy that films in New York, or filmed all over, but primarily he's filmed in New York, and he makes these great videos of what random things that happen in New York, but he doesn't do it live. He films like days and then edits down the interesting stuff.
Right.
You can't go out there and expect anything to happen.
Right. Yeah. Right. This would Opie could do like one of those Breaking Bad montages of like where the sun goes down and comes back up.
Yeah. Get a producer, Opie. Make something here. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll just come back.
Oh, good.
No, never mind. That's cheap.
Hey, you thought nothing was going to happen?
Sorry, I'm wrong.
Well, listen to this.
And he's doing it by fruit, which makes no sense. What is he doing here?
Well, he's saying, don't you understand? He's saying fruit.
Okay.
You can do it. I can't.
I thought he was making fun of like Mexicans or something. Like
That's like what Cardi B says.
I'm sure.
Something like that.
Oh, there you go. Okay. He's being like Cardi B.
Which group is he offending? Is he offending Mexicans? Is he offending blacks? Here we go. Find out.
Sorry. Sorry. They don't like when I say fruit. I'm sorry. Am I bothering you?
What a bad boy.
Let's see what's up
Yes.
here.
Opie's version of Opie thinks this is content, like just going up to someone, being like mentally unhinged, like doing something where you're like, oh, this is a crazy homeless person that could somehow afford one but two cameras, and you would just react to him the way you would so many other homeless people on the streets of New York. You're just like, okay, I'm just gonna go about my business. I don't really want to make eye contact with this person, and Opie's like, got him. I just got their asses. Now they think I'm mentally unwell. Ha ha! Joke's on them. I'm totally normal.
Ah, that reminds me of Stuttering John when he would tell people ridiculous, horrible lies about himself and then see if those people would tell other people. But they were so bad that it's almost like not even worth if
It's
that
like, oh,
person is.
okay. Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Go up there. Maybe we should like stay on the main street.
I wonder if anyone's ever gone up to Opie and been like, here's a few dollars. seems like you need this.
He's drinking a coffee. They throw just quarters in the cup. All right, this last one here is called Day Well Spent.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've seen, I think this, and we got the highlights. This was the most that happened on Opie's live stream. But at the end of the day, I think it was well worth it.
Yeah, watermelons, hats. That's basically all I remember.
You've seen how the other side lives for a few minutes.
He almost called a black man boy that was against a mural. That was fun. Here we go.
And just a reminder, because it's a little chill right now, this whole live stream's actually been chill. I was hoping for a little more energy, more stuff to look at, but that's all right.
We're
Come on, do something black, will you?
Exactly. It's like they're people today. Ugh, gross.
Hey, why are you guys like the boring whites near my house?
I saw you get on a bus, get off a bus. You don't do that different. Do something different.
Right, like, what are they going to do? Even if the people in Harlem live a crazier life than the people in Manhattan, what are they going to do just walking down the street that's worth filming?
He is so racist.
That's the thing. I don't think Opie's racist. I just think he's a retard.
Well, yeah, no, but the stupidity. That's why it just like.
Right, he's just a moron.
Yeah.
I'm doing the live stream with a second camera these days. Hi,
you want to make this interesting? He should do the Die Hard with a Vengeance challenge in Harlem.
But here's the thing: he thinks he's doing that when he goes,
He
"Hey,"
does think he's...
when he goes, "Hey, you're like the people in this mural." He
Uh-huh.
thinks that's him, like being like, "Whoa, Opie has the balls to do that to their faces."
He's
Like
like
he really
Christopher
thinks
Columbus.
he's doing that. Yeah,
He's scouting new territory. Yeah.
Jeff. And what I do is I switch out the original vertical live stream video for the full screen HD.
Why?
So just check on my channel. So
He
now
switches it out. Does that mean he deletes the first version?
Okay, so I have an idea. No, what I think happened. Yes, that means he must delete the views. I'm so confused. But the reason you might do that is because the algorithm, when you're a portrait, gives you a lot more viewers, right? And so this is why Joey C did his Joey C Walk and Talks, is because YouTube feeds you new people if you're on the 916, like if you're on the phone thing. But if you're just a regular show, you have to go into the lives and find the show. And so he's literally doing that just to get more rando views, and then replaces it later with.
But maybe so. Like we do a live stream on Sundays. Every Sunday at 10 a.m. Gang, like and comment and subscribe. We do the live stream, and then throughout the week we post each individual segment, and that's for people that don't necessarily give a shit about the entire show or don't have 3 hours. Make it a little easier for people to find each segment. So I would understand if Opie cut it down, get it live, and then he cuts up the gold. Like he's like, hey, here's the epic watermelon segment, or here's the mayhem we caused in the church. Like if he cut it down to the highlights, but he films it once in standard definition live and once in high definition, and you can watch both versions on his YouTube channel. So you can go back and go, man, what was the look on that lady's face when he was like, hey, I'm too white for this neighborhood? What was she do? I want to see every pore on her face when he says that.
We get one Zapruder film, one view of Kennedy. We get
Right.
multiple views of Opie and Watermelon.
Right, exactly.
Boring in HK. HD. What? Sorry, HD.
She almost got it. She almost got it. One letter off.
Boy, that stopped the room. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god.
There's
I like
times
it.
I'm live streaming, I get really frustrated because I'm doing something that actually is interesting, and then the cell service stinks, and I lose some good shit. So I'm finally going around with a second camera, so I don't have to worry about it when the video quality drops out.
I missed 2 carjackings. Fucking camera.
Roger that. Back to the watermelon.
Oh, good.
Why don't we-
That was so captivating before. Let's see what the watermelon guy is up to.
I'm trying to think where I want to go next.
By the way, it also shows you this exploration of Harlem that Opie has done. It was a 2-block circle. He ended up back at the watermelon guy.
I have never seen someone that needs a hobby worse than this man. He needs something.
Well, he
needs
has a
purpose.
hobby. He walks around black parts of town and hopes there's a looting happening or some sort of crime that he can film.
Which is 1,000 times worse than what Anthony does. I just putting it out there.
It's not even close, but it's like it really is. I've given Anthony shit for his Twitter and everything. I think Anthony's nuts on Twitter, but like Anthony's trying to make arguments. Opie's just like, let's watch them. Let's see what they're up to.
You know what? Why don't we leave the neighborhood and go find something else? How about that?
Yep, that was it. That was Opie finding Harlem.
And we're
He's
gonna
like,
go
"Let me-
meet some Hasidics.
What neighborhood is gonna be like crazier than that? Like there's gonna be building on fire, and the next fucking Nas is performing on the street. Like, what neighborhood are you gonna find this in? Just randomly.
Cardi B's dancing on the top of a cup.
Right. Like, that's what he's hoping for, is that he captured. Opie has been on a quest, and I know as an Opie and Anthony listener, I've never encountered anyone, and I do a show about social media now. I've never encountered anyone that so desperately wants to go viral, and yet has been able to capture nothing that's gone viral in, I mean, more than 15 years, probably 16, 17 years. Opie has been trying to post a clip of anything, and he will go viral. That era has come and gone of people just like looking for any random viral video. And Opie's still like, oh, maybe the two guys will be rap battling and it'll be epic and I can post it on TikTok.
He's literally the cure for herpes. He's an antiviral agent. You just put him on anything and it will go nowhere.
Yes, exactly.
All right, we got one more from Graham Wellington, the chatter of the day, the month, the year. Oh, yeah, Graham Wellington. Electra, are you there? We gotta give Graham.
I'm sure this is just Casey Day trying to butter me up.
Graham Wellington coming in with another $100.
Jesus, Graham.
I never listened to Opie and Anthony. I've always been in NorCal. Opie is the worst. I hope he sees this. Here's another hundo to a low-level streamer.
Hey,
no, low-level streamer. No.
Thank you, Graham. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, Graham, you're being very kind today. Thank you so much. So kind. One more here, Mike.
Cameo Blind Mike started the show late. Tom Myers Goth Crew is a sick idea for a band.
It is.
Tom Myers Goth Crew. I like that.
Yeah.
And then they just perform songs as Tom Myers, and they dress as him, but with goth makeup.
All right, that's not bad. I kind of like that. Yeah, thank you, Cameo Blind Mike.
That sounds like something that would be great at the WATP. What is that? June 21st? Is that what it is?
Oh yes, June 21st. Go somewhere for the tickets.
I posted it in chat.
Not
what is it? Is it WATPlive.com?
Yeah, and then there's a link to the what's it called? The place where it's at? I forgot.
Boston City Winery.
Yes, Boston City Winery.
Yeah, go there, and I'll be there on June 21st. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll be there. You can look at me. Like, think of it like an Opie video. You can come just look at me, and maybe something crazy will happen.
And it's fun, folks. He doesn't even know you're looking.
That's true. It really will be like a zoo animal. You're just watching me in my natural habitat.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, Blind Mike, where can people find you?
BlindMike.net. That website I'm aware of. That one I know. And that's where you can get all of our links. You can watch us live every Sunday at 10 a.m. You can also check out Why You Laughing and Who Are These Socials. All the links for that on all platforms are there. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are part of the live stream, we appreciate you guys super chatting. But a free way to support the show is just by liking, commenting, subscribing. All that helps more people find the show. So we appreciate all of you guys that do so. And you can become a member on Patreon or YouTube for as little as $5 a month. Like I said, if you subscribe on Patreon, you get all the stuff that YouTube doesn't allow us to post. Hopefully this Bill Murray episode gets up. But for now, it's on Patreon. So go check it out there. BlindMike.net is where you find all those links. We appreciate you guys. What's happening in the world of Casey and Electra?
Well, real quick, we got one in under the wire here. Electra, if you want to read this one, from Jack Sampson for $5.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Casey, are you illiterate?
A little bit.
Okay. You always ask Electra to read them, and I'm always like, why can't he read them?
Her voice is,
That's true. Electra has a nice voice. Go ahead.
It makes members move. You know what
I
I'm
see
saying?
that a lot. People do like Electra's voice and her laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very nice. This one's from Jack Sampson, $5. Casey killing it today. They even eat like us, doggy.
Yes, it's also hard to read your own compliments.
That's
or
fair.
disses, which is mostly disses.
That I understand.
All right. What's going on with us is after this wonderful show that I will rewatch over and over again, and I suggest you do the same, people. We're going to be on Catch 22, Catch 22 Sunday. Oh, and we got another super chat. Adam 199. When is the next GD segment dropping, Blind Mike?
I was thinking, so I thought about, people seem to enjoy it. So I thought about doing it again this week. I said maybe next week when Craig is back because
Okay.
it seemed like I was putting you through a lot. So I said
I was just so
we'll make
confused.
Craig suffer next.
But I did edit it to the point where we stopped, and it is in the drive, Kraegers. So we're ready to go whenever you are, Mike.
Yeah. So maybe next week when unless there's a ton else going on, I think next week we might get back to GD Fenderson.
You know what I call it? Comedy Confusion with
Yes.
GD Fenderson. That should
Yeah,
be the title
absolutely.
of the show. All right, and then go over to HackRideStudios.com for all our stuff, DJElectrify.com. And then also the Murder Game. We're going to be on that this week. I'll be on Thursday. That's Kaylee, Lucy Tightbox's new show and channel, so check that out. And thank you, Blind Mike. It's been an honor to serve with you today.
Lucy Tightbox really puts out a lot of content. I didn't realize. Just so many shows going on.
It keeps us tight, Mike. All that content.
I like it. Also, I'll say verygoodshow.org is where you can find Craig because he's doing this thing now where he's like, one week he's like, we're not doing Very Good Show anymore. And then the next week he's like, there's a new Very Good Show up.
I had the same experience, my friend.
So guys, I say go to verygoodshow.org. It's a mystery. Maybe Kaylee can follow this. No one ever knows if Craig's doing a show anymore or not. So I encourage you to go to verygoodshow.org and just find out what's back there. Are there shows? Is he doing anything? Is it just a webcam of him 24/7? What happens at verygoodshow.org? You guys go find that out on your own.
I'd pay so much money a month to watch Cam and just Kraegers walking around and do things.
I don't want that on my computer, so you can watch it if you like.
Okay, good point. Good point.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's it. Bye-bye.
And we have a meme transition.
Hey, it's Biggie.
Sappers clear the way, everyone out there.
Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Put it in the outro. Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
There's no cum on my mic.
rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story. Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right. Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge, threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing bad happened.
Money, 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 money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.
Put it in the outro.